There could be a New York Giants out there.
There was a one-off. That anyway, what are we even doing here? Okay.
Well, you asked the question.
I know.
What's his name? Tell us his name.
No. I don't know what he's up to these days, but not with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so a woman in China ordered a lot of onions, you're about to see it on your screen here, to be delivered to her ex-boyfriend with a note that read, "I cried for 3 days, now it's your turn." Wow.
Listen, I don't know how he got out of the relationship. I'm assuming, based on your question, he cheated on her.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he's out of this relationship. That is unhealthy behavior right there. That is one trash story away from standing over him and he's asleep, she's got a knife.
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and tell you, unless I'm chopping those onions, they're not going to make me cry.
Yeah, I know. No.
Yeah.
And I just wasted a lot of money on onions.
Yeah.
The woman told reporters she found out that he'd been cheating on her after taking a look at his phone. After breaking up, she said she was utterly miserable and cried for days, whereas he continued to enjoy life without a trace of sadness or remorse.
Called winning the breakup.
Well, I tell you what, the cell phone accelerated the cheating game and the getting caught cheating game.
Yeah.
Did it not?
Wait, guys, he ended up reselling the onions.
Oh, see, he won.
Yeah, and he won. He got $138.
How do you resell onions,
I don't
though,
know.
by the way?
Maybe to a
That's
restaurant?
wild.
I wouldn't
That is wild,
resell
isn't
them.
it,
I
Tyler?
would donate
Anybody
them.
want some secondhand onions?
Yes.
They're lightly used.
Yes, why do you have 8,000 bags of onions?
It took her 50 trips to move all the produce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, he's better off out of this relationship.
Yeah,
I'll
they
go ahead and tell
both
you.
dodged a bullet.
I mean, that's even easier. I mean, that's easy to pick up. I mean, she should have
I would have. Well, I can't say that.
She's got a key. She should have ran in there and threw flour and
Cut them up.
First thing I do is change a lot.
onions
Sprinkle.
up. Yeah.
Sprinkle them everywhere.
hide them in places.
Okay, next story. Mom attacks principal and superintendent after being called to school to discuss daughters fighting.
Mom allegedly
I believe we've gotten to the bottom of this.
attacks principal superintendent after being called to school for daughter fighting.
A North
I'm gonna not helping the daughter's case here, are you?
No. A North Carolina mom is accused of attacking a middle school principal and superintendent, grabbing one of the administrators by the neck and nearly choking her during a meeting at the school to discuss her daughter's involvement in a fight. She was released on bond. Hector and other family members were called to Randolph Middle School in Charlotte on May 5th after her daughter was involved in a fight, according to an affidavit. While at the school, Hector reportedly became hostile and was asked to leave. It basically just digressed from there, but definitely not putting your daughter in the best position.
No.
Do you think at some point she said she was just part of the group? She wasn't in the fight. You want me to show what in the fight looks like?
Maybe.
This is what it looks like.
You call that fighting? I'll show you
Yeah,
fighting.
I'll show you a thing or
Let
two.
me grab you by the throat.
Last story here. This is kind of interesting. Bearded dragon saves sleeping owner from house fire.
Okay.
How ironic is that?
He's got a little fire hat on.
Yeah,
He's a fire dragon.
I like that.
Is this a real photo or is this
This
AI?
is a real photo.
Oh,
The,
wow.
Where did they get that little
department
fire
put a
hat?
little fire hat on him. I don't know where they get the tiny fire
Yeah,
hat.
where do you
That's
have
really
that?
cute.
They posted a picture of Spike, the bearded dragon, here
Okay.
with a little fire hat.
I don't really like reptilian
I'm
creatures.
I'm
in
with
my
you on
house.
that. Yeah, as pets anyway.
No,
I
but
don't think so either. But I will tell you.
pull the trigger on the next round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
It appears to be not if, but when with the NBA Finals. We'll talk about that as that gets going today. Some baseball to get to. Craziness in the Women's College World Series last night. An awesome moment. Charles Barkley is on the show today, scheduled to be with us at 10:30 Central, right smack dab in the middle of hour number 2. We'll talk emotions of the NBA on TNT ending, and of course the NBA Finals with Barkley and his love for Auburn as Auburn baseball gets ready for a big weekend, and Auburn football is gearing up for what Chris Lowe and ESPN in at least one place said it's now or never. Now, I read the story. It doesn't say that in there. We'll talk more Auburn football coming up later on. But first, and a ton of college football. But first, hey, a big hello to Birmingham Lifestyle Magazine. We had these dropped off earlier this morning. They got a radio, no, not a radio show. It's a digital video and audio podcast thing featured in there.
Entertaining show.
The men behind the mic.
Has anybody read it yet?
Nope.
I have not. No.
So this could be like a smear piece. Destroying these guys.
We're totally
we came
promoting
in.
it.
I'm promoting it right now. And
Yeah, they hung out with us for a couple of days, and they're like, and they're taking the other angle on these guys.
Here we are. We're like, thanks for doing this.
Yeah. I sent about 70 pictures from over the time.
You saw what the first sentence was. You know who radio doesn't miss? These guys.
Of 70 pictures I sent, 3 of them made it. One of them's just the next round stick mic in front of an SEC logo.
They've all got to be good Dunaway pictures if he sent them.
No. It's frowning, sad Jim inside the Barbie box.
That's right.
On the day Brian Harsin got fired. That's one of 3 pictures.
That's the sub-headline inside the wildly popular Birmingham-based sports talk show, The Next Round. That is very positive.
Okay.
Very
Yeah,
positive.
that is.
First sentence, on Halloween 2022, news broke that Auburn had fired head football coach Brian Harsin. Over at The Next Round, Birmingham's midday sports talk show, hosts Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, and Ryan Brown were ready to dive in. They were also dressed as Top Gun Maverick, Evel Knievel, and Ken from Barbie, roller skates and all.
Yeah.
That's going to be on our tombstone when the show ends.
I know we
remember.
beat the dead horse of time flies, but sitting there and you just set up the Chris Lowe now or never. I think he's talking now or never for the Hugh Freeze era. But going back to that article, it really does seem like yesterday, and that was one of the things we talked in depth with these nice folks that came up to interview us for this piece. And we talked about that specific moment kind of defines everything we've done going into year 4 here. But it seems
going
like
into year 5 here. You want time that flies.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But, with that said, now we're talking about the Harsin era after this year could be possibly coming to an end.
Yeah.
Just how quick all that comes together.
No. You're right. It is crazy.
So,
you're talking about the Freeze era, not the Harsin
Yeah, the
era.
Freeze.
era.
Yeah.
Harsin's already ended.
Birmingham Lifestyle Magazine.
Yeah, thank you.
Right there. Thank you, guys. And also, while we're doing the thank yous and congratulations to Aaron and Matt Creighton. New baby Ellie born yesterday. Everybody's healthy, beautiful baby. And it makes our own social media director, Taylor Korn, Aunt Taylor. There's Aunt Taylor with little Ellie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations to the family. And
did you guys ever know how to wrap the little papoose, the little burrito?
No.
I got it. I could wrap it, but my wife could wrap it so tight. I never could wrap it that
That's
tight.
like a maternal just instinct where they know how to just do that perfectly.
That's right.
And I don't like the way, I don't think that would make me feel. The babies love it, obviously. And I was always worried that, it's too tight.
Well, you
Too
haven't
tight.
been just pulled out of a hole a third your size.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. You gotta slowly acclimate yourself.
Very specific dynamics and measurements there.
Well, I'm just
You've thrown
guessing.
yourself into one, maybe.
just guessing. I don't know.
Beautiful baby. Congratulations to everybody there. All right, we've got a couple of college football things I want to get to right off the bat here, brought to you by our friends at Twin Peaks. Tell us about the wonderful folks there, LT. We're right now, before the doors open, the beer, I think, is 29 degrees.
Oh, it's always 29 degrees. How about this? It's also officially bikini season. If that's not reason
already?
enough to visit the lodge this weekend. Epic deals on your favorite summer cocktails. Also in season, try a transfusion, spicy mango lemonade. Kick off your summer at the Neon Bikini Party.
When is that?
It's coming up 6/7 to 6/10, so it's coming up
That's
this
this
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah. Also, don't forget about Miss Twin Peaks live stream coming up June 10th, so 5 days away from that. You can stop in one of your local convenient locations of Twin Peaks. Enjoy that 29-degree beer. And remember, the countdown to Miss Twin Peaks 2025 is on. Voting for Miss Popular officially live. Head over to 2025misstwinpeaks.com Learn more about the contest. Cast your 5 votes for your favorite Twin Peaks girls right there in 3D. Stop in, see them. Great food, great drink. It's Twin Peaks.
Tyler Forster, I think we just found out we're doing a Mystery Fifth Hour taped recording on the patio at Twin Peaks Friday for some reason.
The old neon bikini
just popped up there. All right, let's go whiteout announcement first. Brown, you have to pull up the September 27th Big 10, Big 12 schedule. Why this is not a big noon kickoff, but we get Oregon.
September what?
September 27th.
Okay.
Oregon at Penn State, night game, NBC, and it's the whiteout game. I like the whiteout being at night. I like it being a big game. How did Oregon get stuck with a primetime game in the whiteout at Penn State? How is this not a big noon kickoff at 11 a.m.?
Probably, though, for Oregon, a better situation coming West Coast to East, 3-hour difference there. So getting the body clock a little more acclimated. And look, we kind of know the outcome of this game already. Penn State's going to be a 1-point favorite. There's going to be a ton of hype. Everybody's going to say,
this is the time.
This is it. This is when they make their statement. Yeah. Penn State with a win here could get to number 1 with, that early loss by Ohio State or Texas or whoever. And Oregon will go out, find a way to win the game. And we'll be talking about it on Monday.
Like always happens to James Franklin.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first chance he's got. NBC game, 6:30. The rest of your Big Ten schedule that day.
I mean, what's on the big noon kickoffs? My question.
How'd
they let this one get away?
Let me check Big 12.
I can do that when you're doing the other.
I got Big 12.
By the way, early betting lines from Bet Online.
For this one?
Yeah.
I would say Penn State 1.
Penn State 4.
Give me all I can get of Oregon right now. Okay. There's no way that game will go off Penn State 4.
Penn State is favored by 4 over Oregon?
Minus, here.
Oh.
Well, you know what? Here's what you've got. The factors.
Put those glasses on.
The whiteout took it up a half
Minus
point.
4.
Minus 4?
But this really is quarterback situation. Ton of experience with Aller, Dante Moore, yet to really know what he's going to look like in this system. I think he's going to be just fine, though.
All right, here's your Big 12 options for Big Noon Kick on Saturday, September 27th. That's my day, right? Saturday, September 27th. Yeah. Arizona at Iowa State, Cincinnati at Kansas.
Keep going.
UCF at Kansas State.
Nope.
Baylor at Oklahoma State.
Nope.
Utah at West Virginia.
Nope.
BYU also plays Colorado that day, but it's already a 9:15 ESPN kick, so that's already been claimed.
So that's not even on the
not even on the docket.
That's on an ESPN.
Yeah,
no chance any of those are.
All right, so here are your Big Ten options that day: Rutgers, Minnesota.
Nope.
UCLA, Northwestern.
Nope.
Ohio State at Washington. There's your key there at Washington.
Oh yeah, you can't do it. That's a 9:00 kick.
Indiana at Iowa, and what will be your Big Noon Kick? Southern Cal at Illinois.
That's actually a good game, though.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois will be ranked probably then. Southern Cal might. I don't know.
Yeah, Illinois will be a slight 2-3 points.
Again, we don't know how Klatt and them decide who gets what game in that package. It's a draft, but
they don't get the first pick every week, though. That's what we've learned. Fox does not get the first pick every week.
But I think at some point they get to reserve 3 games.
They do.
So
how was Oregon and Penn State not one of them? Is what I'm saying.
But I would say if you're Fox, you look at those 2 games and you're like, Illinois, there's a good chance they're going to be this year's Indiana. USC, whether they're good or bad, it's going to be a big talking point because this could be the year they figure something out for Lincoln Riley. So to me, that's a really good draw game.
And they only get a handful of opportunities to broadcast USC in that big noon kickoff in a big game.
So we know that their first pick is always going to be Michigan, Ohio State.
That's right.
I would imagine their second pick was Penn State at Ohio State. Would you not think?
Probably.
Yeah.
It probably was Texas and Ohio State.
Oh, no, you're probably right. That was probably the 3. Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, and I bet they went Penn State, Ohio State.
Yeah. So a lot of Ohio State?
Yeah.
How often have you watched the Big Noon Kick?
This is, how many times do we hear, man, CBS, another Alabama game?
Yeah.
Because Oregon does not play Ohio State, obviously.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, Penn State, I probably would have gone to Oregon at Penn State.
Yep.
I know Ohio State's good TV numbers, but to Lance's point, Penn State's still going to be undefeated then. Penn State's, you're still going to be able to believe, okay, this is the time James Franklin finally gets this done.
Yep.
And by the time they play Ohio State, they will have probably lost to Oregon. But Listen, these people know what they're doing, man. They're the ones making the picks and paying the money. Why they don't ask me?
Yeah, there you go. So that's the whiteout game. So we've had whiteouts in the middle of the day. When Alabama played there, it was a day whiteout game.
You know what?
Auburn was a night whiteout game.
I can guarantee you, whenever we finally see USC Ohio State, that will be big noon. We have not seen these teams play in 8 years.
Wow. And now they're in the same conference.
Yeah, in Columbus, obviously. They wouldn't do it in L.A., I don't think.
No, I don't think they do it in L.A.
Okay, so we've got betting odds from Bet Online that's out of some of the big games in the country. They call them Game of the Years. Only one Auburn game makes it. That's the Iron Bowl. A lot of Alabama games are on here. We'll do what we always do with these, and we'll run through them and let LT guess first, and then I'll give them to you from our friends at Bet Online. Before we do that, the show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Alexander Shunnarah, trial attorneys. Brownie.
Yeah, Alexander Shunnarah is the guy you go to when you're in need of a trial attorney. You start very simply at Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys is a national firm, but it's based in Birmingham. 24 years. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values. Those are integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
All right. First game they list here, September 26. Michigan at Oklahoma, Boomer Sooners.
I think actually Oklahoma is going to be a very short favorite here. I'm going to say Oklahoma opens at 1.5.
1.5 is dead on right there. Brownie, you want to chime in on any of these?
I'll have some observations.
Okay,
as we
you
go.
react.
Yeah, not in this one.
Yeah, and again, the storyline there is this is the game sandwiched around the suspension for Sharon Moore.
That's right.
Former offensive lineman at Oklahoma. Oklahoma obviously breaking in a new offense, new quarterback in John Mateer.
Who is Brent Venables?
Year two with Michigan and Sharon Moore. What's it going to look like? Should be improved. You've got one of the most hyped freshman quarterbacks we've ever seen in Underwood.
Yeah.
September 13th, got 3 games on that day that fall into Game of the Year categories with our friends at Bet Online. One of them is Georgia at Tennessee.
Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia is going to be a 4.5-point favorite.
5.5 is the number. Brown, reaction to that?
I mean, that feels... You said 4.5. I was about to say 5.5 feels a little low.
I thought about this when he was setting up Georgia at Tennessee. This is the least respect we've seen Georgia get in a long time.
Yep.
I can't remember a time where they've been under a touchdown favorite on the road in any of these situations.
Yeah, some of that is quarterback related, obviously.
But same for Tennessee. If Nico was still at Tennessee, what would that number be?
If Nico was at Tennessee, it probably would be 3.5.
Oh, so not that big of a difference, huh? On the same day, Florida plays at LSU.
LSU is going to be a 4.5-point favorite.
Little off on that one, -7.
Wow,
boy, I tell you what, I'd like Florida. It's at LSU, right?
It's in Baton Rouge. I don't.
That's
September
surprising.
13th. We got a kick time. For
I mean,
that
do
one
you
already.
guys think when you look at 10 top 25 polls, 9 are going to have Florida in the top 25?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean 7 is a big number.
7's a huge number,
Yeah.
especially when Brandon Marcello's quarterback ranking yesterday, Lagway's number 1 on his list.
I will be surprised if that game goes off at 7. Look, and I think I'm with you. I think LSU is going to be, they could end up being the best team in the SEC. With that said, I think Florida's going to be much improved. And when is that game again?
That's September 13th.
It's too early for that number to be 7, in my opinion.
So?
Yeah. That's 2 SEC teams there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it's the primetime game, if that affects you any, obviously. Primetime Tiger Stadium, 6:30 ESPN, or excuse me, ABC.
Texas A&M at Notre Dame that same day in South Bend.
Boy, what a day of football that is.
So Notre Dame was a short favorite last year in College Station. I would say Notre Dame is going to be in this spot 5.5.
I don't know what our window is. That's closer. It's another -7.
Notre Dame's favored 7.
I don't
Well, I
know
tell
what
you
you get with Marcel Reed is going to be the guy this year for Mike Elko, right?
Yeah, I
We
would
thought
think so,
Wegman
yeah.
was going to be that guy last year.
They were our team yesterday. You were gone.
Okay.
We had them in at number, 25 yesterday.
I don't know what this looks like for 12 games. I really don't. I feel like Elko's defense will even be improved. I think the defense will keep them in every single game this year. Offensively, I don't know what they got.
Yeah, Brown called them a perennial.
Well,
what?
they're an 8-4 team. I mean, that's who Texas A&M is. Now, if you win this one, 8-4 is going to be more difficult to find. When you call them 8-4, you got them losing this game, I think.
Well, they
but
did
that's who A&M is, an 8-4 team.
Everything they could to vanish last year late, because you remember they were right there in the mix.
Yeah.
Everything was in front of Texas A&M at the end of last season, and I mean, the good news for Elko is everybody's sleeping on A&M. I haven't heard anyone say A&M could be a sleeper in this league this year.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've got them toward the middle of the contenders, down at the bottom of the contenders. A lot of teams ahead of them. We threw them in a mix with Tennessee, Auburn,
probably Florida,
South Carolina, Florida. All those teams sort of.
I mean, like if we were
together.
doing our snake draft, old school style in the SEC, where would we have A&M going? It would be middle of the pack.
Yeah, you have a lot of teams that look a lot alike right there, around that 8-4 mark. Moving to September 20th, 2 games on that date. Another SEC team involved in this one, Florida at Miami down at Hard Rock.
Ooh, this is going to be right around a pick, but I will say the Hurricanes are a 2-point favorite.
Traditionally, I think we've found that these early bet online lines are in some places exaggerated. Miami -4.
Okay.
That number changes if Florida wins at LSU the week before.
Yeah, it does change. And then Miami week 1 has got, help me out, they've got a big game.
Who, Miami?
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Miami loses to Notre Dame, then that takes a little shine off Miami. Miami goes out, handles Notre Dame. That number probably is 4.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know we talk a lot about this, and we did it last year too. Man, the Florida schedule, and you're probably going to hit this game in a moment, having to play at LSU, at Miami, and host Texas in 3 consecutive weeks, that is an incredibly difficult stretch of football.
Do we think Florida's schedule this year is more difficult than Florida's schedules last year?
I think it actually might be.
Yeah, same teams, basically. Out of conference, they drop UCF and pick up a team that they can easily beat.
South Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a, year 1 for Scott Frost back in Orlando. Year 3, Alex Golesh, South Florida. I think those teams are pretty.
Yeah, I mean it's
pretty
not,
equal.
Yeah.
Long Island in the opener. Maybe they played UCF and USF last year.
I think they might have, Jim. I don't know. But having to go to Miami rather than get them at home, having to go to LSU, having to go to Texas, I mean, that 4-game stretch.
You think they'd like to insert Long Island somewhere in there?
At LSU, at Miami, host Texas, at Texas A&M. What an incredible stretch of football that is.
Also on September 20th, Michigan on the road in Nebraska.
This is going to be interesting because I would put this game at a pick right now.
I think I would too. They did not. They went Michigan -3.
I would get all Nebraska I could get right there.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't comment on some of these because these are great lines that I could do. What's our usual bet every year? I got to get 6 of 8.
6 of
12, 6 of 8. I forget what
it
was.
Isn't it 8 of 12 playoff teams? Doesn't he do 12
no,
NFL
I
playoff
do
teams?
something on the NFL. 8 of 12 playoff. I don't know what it is. I'll check.
No, remember
But
he's
these
got to
are-
get all the playoff teams.
Oh yeah.
Because he gets to pick 8 out of the 14.
I get to pick 12.
Yeah.
I get to pick 12, and I got to
No,
get
you pick 8 of the 14,
That's right.
and you've got to get them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to
But
get all
on
right.
this is 8 of 12 correctly
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
against the
picked
number.
12 betting lines. I got to get 8
Yeah.
or 12 on the right side. These lines look so easy.
In the preseason, you have to do this without even seeing anybody play.
I've already got 2 right now.
Oh, do you? You picked 2, huh?
September 27th, we just told you Oregon at Penn State -4, Penn State at home in the whiteout game. 2 SEC games that day. I think it's already announced. This will be opposite of the prime time on NBC, Oregon at Penn State, Alabama at Georgia. So ABC will have Alabama at Georgia, while NBC will have Oregon at Penn State.
So Georgia at Tennessee. Georgia was a 5.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and they're going to factor in the struggles that Kirby Smart has had with Alabama. I think Georgia is going to be a short favorite here. I would say Georgia 2.5.
They are a short favorite -4. Georgia -4.
Think I would grab me some Bama there.
That is, if it goes off there, and it may not, that's as big an underdog as Alabama has been since, a 4-point underdog for Alabama football?
That would take you back, I think, to the 2008 SEC championship game, where Florida was a 7-point favorite.
Think about that for a second. That's how far back
Yeah.
you have to go to Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer to find the last time Alabama was that big a dog.
More than a field goal underdog. Yeah.
Because Georgia and Bryant-Denny last year was what? Do you remember?
I think Georgia and Bryant-Denny, that thing was around a pick.
I mean, that Alabama just being an underdog under Nick Saban very rarely happened.
Do you remember
a 4-point underdog?
What week was Alabama Georgia last year?
Week 4? Is that right? I believe it was week 4.
Sounds right.
I mean, that's a big number, Jim. Georgia 4, and to Lance's point, Georgia has beaten Alabama one time in what feels like 15 years. I'd have to stop and do the math when it actually is, but I mean, it feels like Georgia has beaten Alabama one time in my lifetime right now.
Same day, just across the street from the Grove in Oxford, Mississippi. LSU at Ole Miss.
God, this has been such a fun game the last few years. I will say that they're going to list LSU as a 1-point favorite.
Wrong team favored in this one. Ole Miss minus 2.5.
Okay, I think they're all over the place because when you look at LSU as a 7-point favorite against Florida, now so what is their power ranking based on this on Ole Miss?
Yeah, a lot of love for Austin Simmons this offseason for the Rebels. They're yet to be starting quarterback there, the lefty that'll sling it around the yard, and could be two of the best quarterbacks, Nussmeier and Simmons, in that game.
Yeah, I mean, we still got to see Simmons, but I liked what I saw, and it was one drive. That one drive against Georgia was a pretty important drive, and he looked the part in that one drive.
We moved to October, these Bet Online games, after I tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City. I was texting with Greg last night, man. He's got homes that he is checking out in several different places, but don't stop calling, man. He's getting to you as fast as he can right now, making sure his crews are spread out, getting the job done right. But these free no-cost roof inspections is where you start with Greg. Just find out, I mean, seriously, ask yourself, when is the last time you had your roof inspected? It needs to happen ever so often. Don't know what's going on up there with all those windstorms and rainstorms and lightning strikes we get in the area. Storm Restoration Roofing and Greg from Pell City will give you a free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. The roof inspection is free with no obligation. He can handle roof replacements when it gets old and starts aging out. Roofing repairs, he can do that for you as well. He does storm damage repairs. He'll also take care of insurance providers and has a great relationship with them. So he will help you navigate that, making sure you're getting the maximum coverage you can get. He and his wife Andrea run the company. Some of his 10 kids are on the crews there that help the family business there. That's Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. In October, on October 4th, Miami is on the road at Florida State at the Doak.
Miami in this spot is going to be a 5.5-point favorite. By the way, Alabama was a 2-point dog. It went off last year against Georgia.
And Georgia, I was going to say Miami 7 in this one.
I would say 5.5.
Brown's closer. Miami 7.5. That gets you over that magical hook, which puts that in the possibility. That 7.5, as Furman and I talk about often in our podcast, that 7.5, that makes it a magical number there for me. I may play that in the preseason.
Well, so when you're looking at this game, here's going to be a big factor. Whatever happens in Tallahassee against Alabama. If Florida State's able to keep that game single digits,
that number changes a lot.
Yeah, I think the perception will change a lot. If Alabama runs them off the field, that thing could even grow.
Yeah. October 11th, Michigan on the road at the Coliseum, taking on USC.
USC will be favored in this game. I will say the Trojans go off as a 2.5-point favorite.
Bet Online says wrong team favored there. Michigan minus 1.5.
At the Coliseum.
At the Coliseum.
Boy, there again, Lance. Give me some USC in there.
Yeah.
Like that.
Maiava's going to end up being better than expected, and I think Underwood's just going to take him a little bit of time.
Oklahoma and Texas Red River that day. Obviously, it's the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Texas, boy, I'm really excited about this game.
I am
because
too.
what's going to be interesting when Oklahoma has a better quarterback. Texas is probably going to be a 7-point favorite.
You'll want to buy all of your Oklahoma here then. Texas minus 11.5.
Whoa. In the Red River, Texas is a double-digit favorite?
I should have known more inflated. I mean, Texas is everybody's darling.
Boy,
right
they
now.
are. But Lance, a double-digit favorite over Oklahoma in the Red River. Yeah. I mean...
Bet Online if you want to go jump on these.
And remember, they're led by the offensive genius that had a first and goal at the 1 and some of the worst play calling in a semifinal you'll ever see.
Jim, you got to agree. That's pretty crazy to think that the Red River is a double-digit rivalry right now.
Of course, it has been recently.
Point spread.
Yeah, the updated odds here, October 18th. That's where you get Tennessee and Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
I would say Alabama is a 6 to 7 point favorite here. I'll go 6.5.
You want to take a guess?
Well, I'm just thinking back again. Georgia was favored 5 at Tennessee. I'm going to try to piece this together. Then 4 over Alabama in Sanford Stadium. So I'm going to say Alabama is 6.5.
Double that, Brownie. 12.5.
Woo! Alabama's a double-digit favorite at home against Tennessee.
12.5. Almost 2 touchdowns.
This used to be an inflated number because Tennessee couldn't, come close. They couldn't keep up with Alabama. But now they've won 2 of the last 3. I know those games have been in Knoxville. It's a big number.
Yeah, but what I'm learning here is BetOnline does not think a whole lot of Joey Aguilar.
No.
Yep.
That's what I'm learning.
Same day, Ole Miss is in between the hedges in Georgia, in Athens.
Again, it seemed like they were a little high on Ole Miss, but this is in Athens. I would say Georgia 7.
Beat Georgia last year. Ole Miss did. God,
9.5.
Yeah, I was going to say feels a little bigger than 7.
9.5.
I mean, again, lane in these situations not great either.
Yeah, USC at Notre Dame same day. USC at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame 8.5.
12.5. These numbers getting up late in the year. Always these preseason, I'm right about these. These odds are, you can only bet so much on them. Right?
Yeah, these are probably limited to 500, some casinos, 1,000 others.
Yeah, October 25th, Texas A&M in Baton Rouge against LSU. LSU minus 4.5. Michigan minus 8.5 at Michigan State. And they put Kansas State at Kansas on this list here.
The old
Sunflower Showdown.
Yeah.
Kansas
I
State
think
at
Kansas. I think Kansas State's going to be really good. I think Kansas is going to be a lot better.
Real quick, is that game, do you know that's in Arrowhead? I don't think they're done with their own campus stadium yet.
Probably so.
I think they're playing off campus again this year.
Kansas State 1.5.
Kansas State minus 4. Minus 4. We move to November games and wrap up these early season odds. On the other side of Brownie, tell us about our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, it can be bow time for you at Bojangles. With lunch coming up from sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you are looking for sweet, try honey mustard. If you want to add some tang, try barbecue. If you want some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
Our 40 and 40 team coming up on the other side. Charles Barkley at 10:30. In November, some of the big point spread games in college football. Penn State at Ohio State on November 1st.
Ohio State 5.5.
Yeah, pretty close. Minus 4.5 there. That will have Big Ten implications, playoff implications. That same day is the cocktail party down in Jacksonville, where Florida will be in the home jerseys this year.
Georgia 4.5.
Georgia 9.5.
Ooh, man, they don't like Florida, Lance. I mean, have you noticed this?
Yeah.
These Florida lines, I mean, they're
catching 7 at LSU.
Yeah, catching 7 at LSU. Weren't they catching 4 in Miami?
Just a handful of these games left now. November 8th, LSU in Tuscaloosa to play Alabama.
Alabama 5.
6.5 there. We'll see what LSU is by then. I think they're top 5 team by then. Maybe a battle of 2 top 5 teams.
Another game of the century type game, maybe?
Maybe. Maybe it could be 1 versus 2. Never know. November 15th, Texas is at Georgia.
Oh, wow. There's no way Georgia's a home dog, but the love for Texas is pretty amazing. I will say that Georgia's 2.
2.5 right there. That'll be a huge showdown. We'll know what Georgia has in Gunner Stockton by then. November 15th, also same day. I don't know why they put them separate lines here, but Oklahoma at Alabama.
Alabama 12.5.
I would have taken all that I could last year in Norman, probably, right?
Probably about the same point spread, minus 14.
Yeah.
Alabama, 2 touchdowns at home. Texas A&M, Texas on Black Friday.
Texas, and this is in Austin?
In Austin, Texas, yes.
Texas 11.5.
Really close, 10.5 there. We'll know if Texas A&M's for real or not and how good Arch Manning is or not. November 29th, rivalry weekend, Ohio State at Michigan.
Ohio State is a 6.5 point favorite.
5.5 right there. UCLA, USC.
Oh, the old school bell. The victory bell, right?
Yeah, USC 9.5.
7.5. Really close. Clemson at South Carolina.
Clemson 3.
5.5. Really no South Carolina or Clemson before this, so we don't know how they really feel about them until that last game. Florida State at Florida, Florida 10.5. Iron Bowl, Alabama in Jordan-Hare with 2 big screens now against Auburn.
This is going to be the first time in a long time preseason you're going to get around a touchdown. I will say that I'll see Alabama 7.
7.5 for the Iron Bowl. Does from Bet Online, some betting odds there for their game of the century, or not game of the century, college football game of the years on some big Saturdays. And like Brownie said, you just listen to those matchups, and every week, 1, 2, 3, 4 good games. Can't wait the college football season. 79 days away from week 0. We kick those things off. We'll continue our 40 and 40 countdown. We're in our top 25. We go to number 24 when we come back. The show today being brought to you by our friends at Hemphill. They bring you Lance's Lock. If you want to go play these games or hear what Lance has to say about these games, go ahead and subscribe now for football season at lanceslock.com.
Yes, lanceslock.com. Free play every single day. 205-229-2090. We've got game 1. NBA Finals. Jump on board. Win with us at lanceslock.com. Again, brought to you by the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jump into the chat room here in a second, your reaction to the point spreads, and we'll get to our 40 and 40 team today in just a second. I did want to bring up that the Bahamas Bowl, for the second time in 3 years, will not be played in the Bahamas.
Bring it to Birmingham?
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
With Charlotte in 2023, they were redoing their stadium there. I did not see from Brett McMurphy why it was not being played in the Bahamas this year. Do you have to have passports or anything to get to the Bahamas?
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And they don't have their starred license yet.
Star ID.
Bahamas Bowl will not be held in the Bahamas this year. Sources tell Brett McMurphy the bowl will be played this season at a site yet to be determined. Second time in 3 years the bowl was moved. In 2023, the Bahamas Bowl was played at Charlotte when the stadium in the Bahamas was not available. Listen, the best part about the Bahamas Bowl is going to the freaking Bahamas. I don't want to go to Charlotte for the Bahamas Bowl.
I mean, it was one of the, not that the bowl releases are exciting, but watching like Central Michigan get an invite to the Bahama Bowl where they show like the great weather and those kids are up there in -5 degree sleet and snow, they get really excited about it. But if you're not going to the Bahamas, I'm with you. Why is it the Bahama Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, that's a bowl destination to me. When you get sent to other cities, I won't name them, but...
Well, just, I mean, for a one-off, just make it the Cancun Bowl and like an old soccer stadium. Just throw something together.
But no trip to the Bahamas Bowl, and we'll find out where they're going to play. Hats off to the fine folks with Idaho. They quickly got on social media and said, hey, Kibbe Dome, you know, whatever. Are they Moscow? Is that where Idaho
Moscow.
is? Moscow is known as the Bahamas of the Palouse.
Have you never tried to put a what is it called on the Madden, a legacy team or
on the EA Sports College Football?
Have you not gone to the Kibbe Dome?
Oh yeah, I played at Idaho before, back when it was on there.
Is that a tough environment?
It was. I was Idaho. That was where I started my franchise back in the day. Just to start off playing at the Kibbe Dome, and quickly took a job elsewhere after one successful year.
Do you think they sell a really good fry at the Kibbe Dome?
I'd like to go to the Kibbe Dome.
They should have fresh potatoes, is what you're saying. The show being brought to you, did I tell you a sponsor yet? No. Way to Wellness, our friends at Way to Wellness. Speaking of a good fry, I get in these kicks of roasting potatoes at night, and I had some great ones last night. They were seasoned just right. Crispy coming out.
That is an underrated potato. Were they the red potatoes, the smaller?
Not red, but they were your Idaho potatoes.
Yeah, I like the little red ones seasoned right, coming fresh out of the oven with a little olive oil. Those things are like candy.
I toss them in olive oil, but with little sea salt and pepper and crushed black pepper. It was spectacular last night. Just part of my Way to Wellness diet there. aplanforme.com. You get a free evaluation with our friend Leslie and her board-certified team. Absolutely free to just sit down and talk about your goals, what you want to accomplish, and how they can help you get to those goals right there at Way to Wellness. They've got a variety of different things to help you. That includes, but not exclusively this, the injection therapies, the meal replacements, protein bars, and a variety of other different ways that can help you slim up or get in better health for 2025. You do that right there, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is free. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Reaction in the chat room to some point spreads you heard about.
Yeah, some people were asking, and you may just remember this. Don't feel like you have to dig back into this, but Landmine Believer says, was Georgia not a bigger favorite than that in the 2021 SEC title game or the 2023? He thought he remembered Georgia being a pretty big favorite. So there was the one where Jalen Milroe led the upset and the one where Bryce Young.
It was, remember, because I absolutely loved it. We've got Barkley coming on. We did a little side wager on the air.
I remember this now.
I think Alabama was catching 6 in that game.
Yeah.
The reason why, was it the Bryce Young game?
Yeah, it was.
Alabama had given up a bazillion sacks at Jordan Hare, and they had to go to overtime.
And the offensive line could not block, and Mechie was out at that point.
Mechie was hurt, yeah. So you were down to Jamison. No, Mechie got hurt during that game. Yeah, he got hurt
in the first half, you're right. But Jamison was pretty dominant.
Yeah.
But I think it was the offensive line. Hey, there is – I mean, and logically you looked at that and you're like, how in the hell is this offensive line going to be able to block? And remember, who was the running back?
Brian Robinson. He was the one that was hurt. Yeah. And he had a really good game for Alabama.
Yeah, on one leg.
Playing on one leg.
Yeah.
So very good there, Landmine Believer. Stanley says, how is Alabama a 12-point favorite over Tennessee, but a 4-point dog to Georgia?
No, so location first.
Well, location helps. So if Tennessee were playing in Athens, does that mean Tennessee would be a 16-point dog? You can't do that math, can you?
I don't think so.
It'd probably be about like it is in Tuscaloosa, about 12 or 13 probably, you think?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's a 5.5-point favorite in Knoxville. So it'd be close to 10.
Yeah, but you're not going to add another 10 points to that.
No, but it'd be close to 10.
Jace reminds me Kansas will have their renovations done by the beginning of the season. So rather than in Arrowhead, that Kansas State game will be played in the unfriendly confines.
Yeah, I've been to a KU home game, boy.
I bet that was fantastic.
Is that intimidating? True? I did not know that to be true. I thought they had another year.
I thought so too, but he's saying that. We're asking,
and we believe everything we hear.
Is this the year the cocktail party is in Atlanta? No, that is not until next year when it's in Atlanta and Tampa over the next 2 years. So that one will still be played in Jacksonville.
I mean, it does list it here, Florida. It does list it here, Georgia at Florida, but
no. It's in Atlanta in 26 and Tampa in 27.
Would you guys? We used to always go over for the SEC championship game. Would you guys be interested in going over for the cocktail party
when it's in Atlanta? Not really. That game.
I don't know. It depends on what else is that Saturday.
I still think that there will be, obviously, a ton of Georgia and Florida fans. I think the atmosphere will be incredible.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to try to split the tickets.
They should do a 50-50.
Yeah, they got to do a 50-50.
Yeah.
But I do remember, the last time they had to do something like this, it was true home games.
That's right.
I still think they're doing the neutral site 50-50.
Yeah.
Landmine says, I think, or Vegas thinks Alabama's going to be pretty good. Did you read that into the Alabama point spreads? That Vegas thinks Alabama's going to be pretty good?
Yep.
Morgan says, no mention of Vandy at Alabama.
Yeah, not these are game of the years.
I'll take Vandy. He says, what do you imagine that point spread is, Vandy at Alabama?
There will be a little hangover from last year, at least with Vegas factoring this in. I think Alabama's 17.
17.
And that might be light. I'd lay everything I can get on that one.
You're asked, did you give LSU Clemson? Was that one not available, LSU Clemson?
There was no line here for LSU and Clemson.
By the way,
it's an early game, right?
Diego Pavia, week 1. Early prediction, more interceptions and turnovers than total points for Vanderbilt.
In that game?
Yeah.
In the Alabama game?
I'm exaggerating, but I do think he'll struggle in that game.
This is moving really fast. Somebody asked, Lance, do you think Vegas knows something we don't know about Oklahoma? It did seem the Oklahoma lines were a little out of whack.
I think that there are two contingents, people that believe the game's going to translate for Mateer from Washington State to the SEC, and there's the others that are like, this is not going to work out. And so based on where Oklahoma's been last couple of years, the numbers are inflated against them.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma's going to be much better than that.
Currently, right now, in live betting odds, Auburn a 2.5-point favorite at Baylor, Alabama a 13.5-point favorite at Florida State, and LSU and Clemson currently a 3-point favorite at home to LSU. That's current live betting.
We had a Auburn fan come up to us last night at trivia, did we not?
We did, wanting to talk about that Baylor game. I think he was a bit surprised at the how big that point spread actually was.
Yeah, I'm going to assume I think he said, I'm going to assume Baylor's favored, and I was like, Auburn right now is 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
And he was like, well, I like Baylor. And then he comes back 10 minutes later. You know what? I think Auburn wins this game by double digits.
15 minutes.
A little liquid courage.
He completely flipped around. He started with Baylor.
We can beat Kansas City, the Chiefs. All right, before we get to our 40 and 40 team, LT is going to tell you about our friends at Champions Boxing. They bring you the 40 and 40 countdown.
Yeah, Champions Boxing. I was having the conversation with somebody yesterday. Brown, I don't know if you were involved in it.
Might have been. man.
But we were talking about Champions Boxing, just an outstanding place to go for yourself. Doesn't matter, men and women both training there. All ages starting at 9 years old. A lot of housewives just trying to stay in shape. A lot of former athletes looking to try another sport to compete in after high school and college. Me and Jack are going out there later today. It's conveniently located in Pelham behind the Purple Onion. You can go to their Instagram at Champions Boxing AL, Facebook at Champions Boxing AL. Get in, see Akash, Jake, Melman, all the great trainers there. Anyone looking for a workout different from just throwing up some weights, come check them out. The official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held in Birmingham this July. No pressure to spar, but if you do, it's 100% safe, controlled, team and family oriented. It helps in teaching discipline and fundamentals. If your kid doesn't have something to do this summer, it could be an awesome option for you. Very, very, very affordable. Stop in, see our friends right there at Champions Boxing.
Okay, earlier this week we had Auburn at 27 out of the SEC. Yesterday we had Texas A&M at 25 out of the SEC. Today, number 24 from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Here's the Louisville Cardinals coming to town. I will tell you that 14 of our voters did not have Louisville ranked in their top 25, but there were one as high as number 10. That was their highest ranking, number 10, and that, I believe, was Morgan, who listens to us outside of Louisville every day.
Louisville could be one of the surprises in the ACC this year. You know, they were 9-4 last year. You really start to dissect the 4 losses. By the way, they won 5 of their last 6 in the season. All 4 losses by single digits. So Jeff Brom had this team really close. Now, I do think the quarterback situation, Tyler Shuck, good chance he's going to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Think they were in a better quarterback situation with Shuck than they will be with Miller Moss. But you got really good receivers in Chris Bell, Colin Lacey, 2 running backs in Isaac Brown and Duke Watson that could go over 2,000 combined yards. I think Louisville's going to be really good. I think the schedule's a little tricky, though.
Especially the opening of their ACC schedule. I mean, they've got what should be 3 wins baked in to start: Eastern Kentucky, James Madison, and Bowling Green. But they start their ACC schedule at Pitt. They come back home against Virginia, but then they're at Miami. 2 of the first 3 on the road, at Pitt, at Miami. That's tough road games for them.
Yeah, and I think Pittsburgh actually will be the favorite in that game. Miami's going to be favored. Clemson's going to be favored. SMU's probably going to be favored. Outside of that, at Virginia Tech and at Pitt will be close to a pick. There's a good chance Louisville's favored in 8 games. Schedule a little more difficult. Quarterback play not as good, in my opinion, with Miller Moss. But Louisville still has another solid season. I had them at 33, which I think they're about 8-4.
Yep.
But, you know, the game breaks here or there. They could go 10-2 and find their way back in an ACC championship game. I do think Brom is one of the better play-calling head coaches in college football.
My question to ask, one was, is there a path to the ACC championship game for Louisville? You answered that. And then it was, is Jeff Brom one of the more underrated head coaches in college football?
Probably 19-8 in 2 years at Louisville. I thought he did a solid job at Purdue.
Yeah, I thought he was good at Purdue. I mean, what do you think his record was at Purdue?
Who's in Jeff Brom's neighborhood in college coaches? Is there an SEC coach that you put on Jeff Brom's level?
Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel,
Yeah,
Jeff
I think that's a
Brom?
pretty good comparison. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Morgan, I'm going to start highlighting some of our voters. His playoff teams this year, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State, Arizona State as conference champions. Also making the playoffs in a group of 5 team. Also making the playoffs, Oregon, Notre Dame, Penn State, Georgia, LSU, Alabama, and Louisville sneaks into his playoffs with an at-large.
Yeah, this would be big for the ACC. Back-to-back years, 2 different teams in a college football playoff.
Let me ask you this on Brom. Purdue is who in the SEC? Give me who Purdue is in the SEC.
Purdue is, I don't want to say that about Mississippi State. I don't want to say that about Kentucky, Vanderbilt.
I was going to go Kentucky. Oh, you think Purdue's Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
So Brom and
Purdue has been awful.
Brom
Post Joe Tiller.
In 6 years at Purdue, 36-34, so 2 over 500. 26-25 in the Big Ten, 2 over 500.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Now, they were in the Big Ten West. Again, division helped them some there.
Still.
But I'd say that's probably a pretty good job at Purdue.
He beat Ohio State at least once.
And one time.
Yeah.
Maybe twice.
I would
twice.
say this. If I'm a Louisville fan, you guys start stacking your power rankings where programs should be in the ACC. I think everybody would have Clemson 1, and then Miami, Florida State. But Louisville should be right there. And my argument would be, if SMU in year 1 can go undefeated in the ACC, in year 3 with Jeff Brom going out and getting his quarterback in the portal, Louisville should be in the mix to get to a college football playoff.
That's our 40 and 40 team today. At number 24, the Louisville Cardinals, as they slide in there with their schedule up there on the screen, where they open up with the Colonels of Eastern Kentucky, and they end with the rivalry game against the Kentucky Wildcats and everything good in between in the ACC there. Louisville in at number 24. Viewing menu in a moment. Charles Barkley coming up, scheduled to be with us at 10:30 on the start of the NBA Finals tonight. 7:30 on ABC for that contest. Women's College World Series last night. After I tell you about our friends at New Life Art, Daniel A. Moore, I'm telling you, if he painted softball for Texas, he'd have painted last night one. But he's painted a lot of works for Alabama football and Alabama basketball. The latest works, you can find them all right there at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com, promo code TNR. That includes a little basketball buzzer beater from down at Neville Arena earlier this year, where Mark Sears had the teardrop overtime winner against Final Four team Auburn. You can get that and check it all the great works with our friends at New Life Art right there at danielmooreart.com and danielmooreart.com, promo code TNR. Brown.
I don't know who he was doing the interview with. I just saw it on TikTok. Brody Croyle, though, said he thinks he might be the only player featured in 2 Daniel Moore prints. One for all. No, let me back that up. He might be the only player featured in a Daniel Moore Auburn print and a Daniel Moore Alabama print.
Right. The sacks.
Yeah. Daniel Moore did one on that when Honk if you sack Brody, and then obviously he was in one for Alabama. I think it was 10 of the, I don't remember which game it was.
Not a flex, just a fact, right?
Yeah, not a flex, just a fact. He's like, I think I might be the only one in an Auburn painting and an Alabama painting by Daniel Moore.
Okay, before we get to the viewing menu, Women's College World Series last night, Nigeri Kennedy, the girl from Stanford, they got $1 million to go pitch at Texas Tech. She also hits home runs. She was dealing last night. 1-0, bottom of the 6th. They've got 2 runners on at third and second, and one of the best hitters for Texas in Reese Atwood at the plate. Now, Reese Atwood has 0 hits in the Women's College World Series. And she's a good hitter for him, second best hitter on the team, but she hadn't had a hit yet. And you've got Kennedy on the hill, and she's dealing. It's 1-0, 2 outs in the 6th. So we're going to walk her. The coach says, let's intentionally walk this person.
Who's on deck?
Somebody who's not their second best hitter. The best hitter has already gotten on base.
Okay.
And you had fooled her, and she'd basically thrown the bat at an off-speed pitch, and it just landed in the middle of the infield where nobody could throw her out. So third and second, you intentionally walk, which in baseball and softball terms, get the easy force out for the final out of the inning, makes sense. But sometimes you overthink this. You've got the best pitcher in the world. So you're going to, and in softball, you've got to pitch it now. You can't just point them to first base. So you can't just say, give her the base. So you got to throw them.
Yeah, okay.
So Kennedy is, I don't know if she's, Forrester, help me out. Did they say she's never intentionally walked anybody before?
Yeah, that's what they said on the broadcast.
And I got to imagine, sorry, Lance, but I got to imagine, Scott, your daughters play the game. It, used to when you had that silly have to throw 4 balls to walk a guy in baseball, you just lob it up there. I imagine that's a little more difficult to do in the softball form. Is that right, Scott?
It's got to be.
She clearly struggled doing it.
I mean,
no, it's just not a natural motion.
Not a natural
I'm the coach.
Well, the catcher wasn't helping her out either. She's not standing to the side.
That's right. Well, you got to start off in the box, the catcher's box, or to balk. You can have 1 foot out, but
no. I'm saying once she pitches, you jump out.
That's
and
right.
catch.
But I don't even know how you. So, when you're throwing overhanded, obviously for more accurate and confined space, you short arm. You can't even short arm underneath, right?
You don't have to do the full thing.
Could you go over the top?
No, it's got to be an underhanded toss.
Does it really?
Yeah, over the top would.
So is this how they scored a run?
Okay,
hold on. Let me finish the story. Let me finish the story, and then you guys can react. So the catcher just stands up like Forrester says, and she's never intentionally walked anybody, and she throws one that's high, but it's right over the plate, but it's high.
Okay.
And here's a still shot.
Yeah.
No, does she take her yard?
Okay. Yeah. She ends up getting a base hit here. The second pitch is a little closer to the point where Beth Mowens actually says, ooh, that's barely outside of the zone. The third pitch was a little bit more outside the zone. The fourth pitch, as Forrester has put up here, is too close on the plate, and Atwood takes a swing and slaps it past the shortstop, who didn't really look like she was in the ready position because we intentionally walked her. 2-run scores, 2-1. Texas wins the game. Their pitcher was dealing too in the bottom of the inning. So it's a failed intentional walk that gives Texas the win 2-1.
All right, let me ask you this. From strategy perspective, was the walk the right call?
No.
It was not?
Not when you got the best pitcher in the game and they're
Then I paid $1 million to play for my
they're
team?
struggling to touch her.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was even flukish against Oklahoma because wasn't it like the 8 or 9 hitter hit a 2-run bomb late?
Right.
Like she has been completely dominant. But at the same time, if you haven't, obviously they really haven't practiced this, right?
Yeah.
Like has she?
Well,
I really would be interested to see if you talk to her. Hey, have you ever gone through the motions in practice of an intentional walk?
She said last night, no blame of the coach is all on her. Looking forward to get back. It's a best of 3 series. Luckily, they go at 7:00 tonight on ESPN.
Is she taking something off the pitches?
Yeah, I mean they were not her fastest pitches, were they? For sure, they were.
No, she wasn't burning them in there. But I mean, seems like she could have taken something off of it.
They were still in the 60s though, so they were not her 72-mile-an-hour fastball. 73.
Yeah, Jay says the first 2 could have been called strikes. Like apparently the umpire knew what they were doing. Obviously,
the second one could have been called a strike.
Yeah,
the one Beth Mowins goes, that's a little too close to the zone.
What do you do if you're the umpire there? You're like, I know they're trying to walk, but that's a daggum strike. Yeah. I mean, I can't just take the night off here.
Why not just put one in their thigh?
Yeah, and the catcher is...
That's a good question.
I mean,
why not just hit her?
You miss the thigh and it goes to the backstop, then the runner scores from third.
Well, but if I'm paying this girl $1 million, don't she get somebody in the thigh?
Yeah. It was overcoaching, in my opinion, by the Texas Tech coach. Nobody's really touching her. Just let best on best, see if they can get a base hit.
Pissed? I bet that
$1 million
dude that paid
booster?
$1 million.
Yeah, old man.
That gets us to our Michelson viewing menu. If you didn't watch that last night, maybe you watched hockey. It was as thrilling as I thought it would be.
What a good game.
Edmonton wins it with 31 seconds left in overtime off of Connor McDavid feed, 4-3 over the Panthers. Michelson Laser Vision brings you what's on tonight.
So you've been thinking about the LASIK procedure. Maybe you wear contacts. Maybe you wear the glasses. Stop procrastinating. Make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Taylor. The next round, Cynthia. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make the phone call that I made. Now I've got 20/15 vision, better than 20/20 vision. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, we got a couple new releases in theaters this weekend. Last night I was able to catch an early screening of Ballerina, the newest film in the John Wick movies.
Can't wait. Me and Jack are going this weekend. How is it?
It's disappointing.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I could tell.
Well, and if you say disappointing, it's really disappointing.
I mean, there are parts of this movie that feel like they don't even belong in the John Wick franchise.
No,
There's like
how can you jack this thing up?
So they started off the movie having Len Wiseman direct it, and he is known for directing the Underworld movies. Then, midway through the production, they had the original director of the first 4 movies, Chad Stahelski, come in and reshoot and clean up. And you can definitely tell which scenes he reshot and cleaned up because they're the ones that actually feel like John Wick scenes. And then the other scenes are just a mess. There's an unsettling amount of slow-motion action rolls in this movie, and I don't remember there being any of those in the first 4 John Wick movies.
An unsettling amount.
Well, I thought it was kind of a disappointing Rotten Tomatoes score. Like, it's early on, but it's 78%, and all the other ones were high 80s to 90s.
Yeah, I think the first John Wick film is a masterpiece.
Oh, it was incredible.
But that's my review of Ballerina. I'll be talking about it more on the Meltdown.
But is
today.
it even worth going to see or wait for streaming?
Just skip it.
Oh, man.
Damn.
That's
like,
tough.
if you're a diehard John Wick fan, there's parts of it that you'll enjoy, but it's not worth paying for because it's just very disappointing.
Would you agree, though, and there's a lot of directions you can go here, the best action franchise is the Wick franchise, at least going into this one?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 4 movies are just a nearly perfect run.
So the choreography is not the same as it's been in all the others?
No, it gets pretty goofy.
Wow.
If you've seen the Underworld movies with the Kate Beckinsale.
I tried with the wolves running around and stuff. I mean, the only thing about her in a cat suit was the only reason I watched.
Yeah, that's the reason most people watched, and that's because the action scenes in that movie were garbage, chaotic. You couldn't tell what was going on, and you got some of that going on in this movie, sadly. But we got some more releases. We got the premiere of season 2 of an anime I was able to catch last year called Dandadan, and this is about aliens and ghosts, and it's very weird. But I was able to catch it early last year and say that it was going to be the best anime of 2024, and then it ended up sweeping the awards at the end of the year. So I'm hoping that season 2 continues that. And then we've also got season 2 of Tires on Netflix with Shane Gillis. I haven't seen this show. Have you guys?
I have not. I like Shane Gillis.
I watched first season just because every episode's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And, there are some funny moments. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was very average, but it's just such an easy, digestible, don't have to think about it, just throw it on. It just fills time. But I do like Shane Gillis a lot.
Yeah, I like Shane Gillis. I think he's funny. I just didn't know if I would like 20 or 30 minutes of Shane Gillis.
Yeah, that's been my hesitation in watching it, too. And then we've got a new Wes Anderson movie in theaters.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be overly pretentious. It's called The Phoenician Scheme. Wealthy businessman Zsa Zsa Korda appoints his only daughter, a nun, as sole heir to his estate. As he embarks on a new enterprise, they soon become the target of scheming tycoons, foreign terrorists, and determined assassins. It's got an all-star cast including Benicio del Toro, Michael Cera, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston, Jeffrey Wright, Scarlett Johansson, and Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, he's always got all-star cast. He's done so many different collaborations with Bill Murray and obviously the Wilson brothers. None of his stuff resonates with me. Daughter, one of her favorite movies is Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, I just think all of his stuff, it is too uppity for me.
I liked Fantastic Mr. Fox, but I think...
Yeah, that was probably the best.
Yeah, I think that just came out at the right time for me, though, but that's probably the only one of his movies I like.
Bottle Rocket was okay way back then. Rushmore was okay. Weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what Tyler's watching, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. When we come back, more college football to talk about, and then Charles Barkley joins us at 10:30. This is the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the next round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, these guys spent a lot of time together, including Odie's on Wednesday night. What was the question last night?
Which came first? Tyler, feel free to chime in here. Angelina Jolie or Taco Bell?
I got Angelina Jolie's age almost to the year when I guessed. I guess she was 50.
You ever won?
We said it yesterday on the show during Four Downs.
I
did you
never
do it?
remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never remember that.
Yeah, she was 50 yesterday, 1975. Neither one of y'all ever remember that. I'm surprised.
I thought she was 51 yesterday.
No, she's 50.
Yeah. But I know the answer to the question, so I can't guess.
So then it comes down to Taco Bell. Brown learned this last night. Taco Bell was not originated out of the country of Mexico.
I mean, I've been sold a lie my whole life, Tyler. You telling me they don't have Mexican pizza south of the border? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I don't believe they do.
Oh.
They don't have cheesy roll-ups either.
I don't buy that.
No nachos Bel Grande.
Yes.
So what do you think?
I thought Taco Bell was a California thing back in the day. And
Yeah.
so you're right, it's 50, so 75. I would have said Taco Bell was an early 70s thing. Before 75.
Early 60s, believe it or not, 1962 for the Bell. I remember the first one I ever saw was like in Fort Walton, Florida. And I hated Taco Bell when I was a kid. Absolutely love it now. But these are the little things you learn at Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night, the original location in Crestline. Live music every Friday and Saturday night. Of course, Game 1 of the NBA Finals, great place to go. Enjoy the incredible food from Rodney Davis, the award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets, the Odie's famous cup cocktails. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations, the original in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Birmingham Institution, it's Odie's Tavern.
All right, we're going to talk some more college football here with our spotlight, and there's a big discussion going on about the college football playoffs, what the format should be. Remember, we're going to get a permanent format laid out starting in 2026, and there are people on all sides that are making a discussion about how this should look. That's our focus of our Shunnarah Spotlight today. Hit it, Tyler.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight brought to you by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah. You know that they handle personal injury cases, but you might not know that one of Alex's missions was to create a firm that can handle any issue his community face. So now not only do they handle personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
All right, so Joey McGuire is on Sirius XM College Sports. All our friends over there who does that. He's the head coach at Texas Tech. They've got a lot of money now. They're getting into the conversation for this year's playoff as maybe a Big 12 favorite. He had this to say about the future of the college football playoffs and how it needs to be decided on who is in the playoffs each year. Here's Joey McGuire, head coach.
I think you got to earn it on the field. And if you're a conference champion, then you should be in. And then everything after that, we got to figure out who the best teams are to get in the playoffs. And it's not who the best teams are in certain conferences, who the best teams are, in the country. If you're not going to say that you're going to have automatic, qualifiers for every Power 4 conference and it's all equal, then, man, let us do it on the field. If you win your conference, you're in, and then find the best teams that way. I think that's the way we should do it. And we got to take some of the bias out of conferences that this is a tougher conference because of this and this and this. I mean, let's fight it out on the field, and I'm all for that, man. I mean, if we win the Big 12, then we should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's doubting that, Coach McGuire. It's the others, the wild cards, the other at-large bids, how you decide that. Ryan Day, same conversation going on at the same time, tells ESPN the Big Ten is 18 teams, tough conference. We deserve at least 4 automatic qualifiers. So Ryan Day, defending national championship coach, is on board for the automatic qualifiers.
Don't like the automatic qualifiers. Look, I mean, the Big Ten is going to get more than likely 4 in, at worst case 3 in each year. What Joey McGuire is saying is ideal, but it's impossible. You can't fight it out on the field.
Yep.
And the Big 12, going back to last year, it was a one-bid league. Everybody knew it going in. Arizona State, Iowa State, winners in, losers out. BYU also won 10 regular season games, but they weren't deserving to get in. And the Big 12 is going to cannibalize itself. And the fact of the matter is, mid to lower Big 12 teams can't compete with what you got week in, week out in the SEC and Big Ten.
Ryan Day says if we don't have automatic qualifiers, you're less likely to play a game like we're playing this year against Texas because it just won't make sense. That's from Ryan Day, your defending head coach. If we don't have automatic qualifiers, we're not going to play games like Texas.
When he says automatic qualifiers, is he talking about conference champions?
He said, as I said earlier, he wants 4.
If you could just repeat it.
From the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So you get your conference champion. It's the 4-4-2-2-1 model that was discussed all season. The Big Ten and the SEC, 4 automatic qualifiers.
Now, I know I'm not the brightest bulb, but that comment doesn't make any sense, right? So what's the difference? So you're going to play Texas out of conference with 4 automatic qualifiers.
Yeah, because you're getting 4 out of the Big Ten, regardless. That's going by just your Big Ten standings.
Yeah, but if other teams like Indiana aren't playing those out of conference games,
if all I've got to do is finish in the top 4 of the Big Ten, why even play Texas?
Yeah.
No, that's what he's saying. If the Big Ten schedule doesn't change, so we're not. If it's just at large, it's Big Ten champion, and then everything is at large. We're not going to play the Texases of the world.
So that's what Lance and I are saying. Like if all I got to do is finish in the Big Ten top 4, what does my out of conference schedule matter? Why would I play Texas?
No, that's what he's saying. With the automatic qualifier, we're playing these Texas games. If we go to if we go away from what Joey McGuire is saying, the 5 auto bids and 11 at larges, then we're not going to play.
No, but I think it's easier to get in as one of the automatic as one of the at-large.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying if all I got to do is finish in the top 4 of the Big Ten, why would I don't know that they would play Texas anyway, is my point.
You would play Texas because it's not going to impact you in the Big Ten.
But it doesn't help you either. That's my point. I'm not sure.
So like Indiana 11-1 and Ohio State 10-2 playing Texas.
Like my out of conference no longer matters.
It doesn't. That's why you would play the Texas game. It's a money game.
I'm disagreeing with you on that. I'm saying I don't know that you would play the Texas game.
I'm just telling you what Ryan Day says.
I know, but I don't know that he's being truthful.
I don't think he's making any sense.
I don't know if he's being truthful about this.
First of all, on the 11-1, 10-2. it's only the Big Ten games that matter in the top 4 of the Big Ten. So it's not 11-1. It's whatever the 9 games is for Indiana. It's going to have more of a like schedule to yours. You played those out of conference games because it's not going to hurt you in the playoff race. It's there for the TV money, for the fans, the home games, your ability to make the money.
But I'm also Ryan Day, who wants as many wins as I can get and wants to keep fans off my back. And I am it no longer benefits me to play these games. So I don't know that Ryan Day is being truthful in this, is all I'm saying, Jim, is I know it's easy to say, well, I'm playing this game, but if all I got to do is finish in the top 4 of the Big Ten, why take a potential loss? Why not just schedule easy out of conference? Because it all comes back to my Big Ten.
Ryan Day also saying that he is concerned on whether or not he can continue to make the Ohio State fan base happy, throwing out top 3 wins, top 3 finishes on a year-by-year basis. That
he said this publicly?
Yeah, it's a growing concern of his on whether or not he can keep feeding the machine at Ohio State.
He doesn't seem like a guy, and this is going to sound a little hollow based on the fact that going into the playoffs had all the pressure in the world and they were able to win a national championship. But if he's already talking about this coming off a national championship, this has been really bothering him behind the scenes. And I'm sure it did, but to publicly come out and say this, I don't think Ryan Day's going to last. I think Ryan Day's going to end up going to the NFL if he gets an opportunity, based on comments like this.
I am. Look, I know his family probably got a ton of crap this past year, and that sucks. And I know when you're a father and your kids see and hear some of that stuff, it really, really sucks. I get all that. But I am growing a little bit tired of hearing Ryan Day and his family tell me how hard it is to be the Ohio State football coach. Yeah. And people shouldn't act the way they act, but
you can make an argument it's the easiest job in college football.
It's a difficult fan base. I do know that. I've been around their fan base. That's a difficult fan base.
But as far as ability to have success,
I
mean, you're not in the SEC.
That's right.
Still a great conference, but you are the alpha in the second best conference.
Yeah.
So to me, that might be the best job in college football.
That's just wearing a little thin on me, Dunaway, is constantly hearing Ryan Day tell me how tough it is to be the Ohio State football coach. I mean,
a lot for a guy that's got a trophy right now.
Yeah, and you're getting paid $10 million. I mean, you could go if you want to and coach, some high school team and probably make $100,000 and would not hear a fraction of the criticism you get from Ohio State fans. I'm just getting a little tired of that. And I don't doubt that they get a lot of criticism. I don't doubt it. But, man, he is constantly telling us how tough that job is.
Our friends at Breakline brings us part of the show today, the new line of breaking news glasses that Brown will don when there's breaking news on the show.
I just can't wait.
I've got 2 pairs of Breaklines now. Yeah. I absolutely love them. I've been wearing those roadies a lot. They've got a kind of a bluish color to them. But there's so many styles that you can choose from. Local great product, Brown.
It is. Local company. BreaklineOptics.com for all the info. BreaklineOptics.com. And you can get a Father's Day gift for your dad and make it a memorable one. 20% off Father's Day with code TNR20. Code TNR20 for Father's Day, and you get 20% off that order. Make it a memorable Father's Day for dad. I know, look, anytime I'm giving gifts, it's hard to figure out a good one to give. Well, Breakline takes that off your plate there. They have sunglasses worthy of a man who knows every adventure on the green or on the lake is an opportunity to make memories. BreaklineOptics.com for more information. Great Father's Day idea, and TNR20 gives you 20% off Father's Day. BreaklineOptics.com.
Okay, the headline, one of the catch headlines for the Chris Lowe Auburn story was "It's now or never for Auburn." You click on the link and it says Auburn looks to convert recruiting portal wins into victories on the field. Our buddy Chris Lowe diving in to Auburn football, and Hugh Freeze sort of explaining things that he said on our show. The "I'm not naive" comment. Not pressure, but I know what we need to do. We need to win some games. We need to, at least a bowl game. He goes deeper into that. Where do you think, you said in the first segment when I sort of teased now or never for Auburn, you thought it was more now or never for Hugh Freeze, not necessarily the Auburn football program.
Well, I think when you are going into year 3, and I don't know how you guys felt about this, the Harsin hire fell short. I think the Malzahn, I think this was maybe the most excited Auburn fans have been about a hire in a long, long time. So there was an expectation just based on the success that Hugh had at Ole Miss. And you really thought the offense was going to pop. And then year 2, he sold it pretty well that he was very comfortable with his quarterback and Peyton Thorne coming back. But, the situation is 6 wins, 5 wins. It's got to get a lot better in year 3 with the money you're paying him. And you went out and you got the quarterback that you believe in the portal is going to be the quarterback that can get you to the next level. If you win 6 or 7 games, it's going to be really, really dicey.
John Cohen is the athletic director, and he's quoted in this story. And I find this to be interesting in what LT's talking about. Quote, "There are 2 ways I evaluate our football program right now. Do we still have the kids in the locker room?" And the answer to that was a resounding yes at the end of last year, especially with the way those kids helped in the recruiting process. And number 2, are we indeed evaluating and recruiting top 10 classes? And the answer to that is yes, Cohen says. Remember, he was a 2-time SEC Coach of the Year in baseball at Michigan State, so he understands coaching. He goes on to say, if those 2 things are happening in this league, you're going to eventually have success. I do think we started from behind the 8 ball. I'm not being critical of the kids who were here and stuck it out. I'm really proud of that. But we did not have Auburn-type talent here, and it was obvious that something was happening where kids were running in and out of this program. Our elite kids here at Auburn are not leaving the program anymore. That from the AD to Chris Lowe of ESPN.
Okay, well, you don't have an excuse. I mean, you don't. So, like now, okay, we've got top 10 classes. I don't know how you guys feel. I used to feel like a full recruiting cycle was fair, but now with the transfer portal, I know it works both ways.
Yeah, we used to always say you got to give a coach 4 years. Yeah.
But I think 3 years for a really good program, you've got to show at least improvement.
If your NIL is aligned, and it appears Auburn's at least is somewhat aligned, right? It's heading in the right direction. If you've been able to work the portal and get the guys you want, there's no reason anymore in college football you can't win big in your 3rd year. I mean, it's even if you take over a job, as Hugh told us when he did his interview with us, and some fans were like, yeah, I think he oversold this a little bit. But when he did the interview with us, he talked about the fact that they were behind the 8 ball pretty heavily recruiting when he took over. Even if you're behind the 8 ball recruiting, the portal and NIL can erase that very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I would just ask you, is there ever a world where Indiana, Arizona State, and Colorado would ever recruit with Auburn? And that answer is no, and I don't think they did last year. So you can blame it on recruiting classes all you want, but when you look at year 2 coaches and Deion Sanders and Kenny Dillingham and year 1 in Kirk Cignetti and what they were able to do, I mean, it might be unfortunate for some of these coaches, but you've only got 2 or 3 years when you're getting paid upwards of $8 to $10 million.
Yeah. From the Chris Lowe story at ESPN, based on ESPN colleague Bill Connelly's post-game win expectancy, a formula that determines how likely a team was to win based on games' key stats, Auburn should have won 8 games instead of 5. Making it the most underperforming team in the country by that metric. So of all the teams in the ESPN Bill Connelly postseason stat breakdown, Auburn should have won 7.8 games, basically 8 games, instead of the 5 they won, making it the most underperforming team in the country. To that, when Chris brought that up to Hugh Freeze, we did a lot of things that get you beat, and yet we still averaged 6.7 yards per play on offense. Only 4 other power conference team averaged more. That was Ole Miss, Miami, Louisville, and Ohio State. They were all a combined 43-12, and then there was us.
Okay. Well, I would love to see those teams' points per game, because the fact of the matter is you can average how many yards a play, but you got to be able to get it in the end zone. And Hugh Freeze in year 1, 26.2 points per game. How much do you think it went up year 2?
I'm not certain it did. Did it go up?
1.4 points per game to 27.6, but the win total went down.
Well, I mean, 2 games in that stat jump out at you. The Cal game where they had 5 turnovers, and the Oklahoma game where they control that entire game and throw a pick 6 very late to lose the game. I mean, That's true. And look, you can do this the other way too.
And by the way, 14 points and 21 points in those games.
Not enough. That's not enough. And you can do, but when you turn it over 5 times, Lance, you're going to struggle to score points. You've given away half of your possessions, if not more. Yeah. And that end-game pick 6 killed you against Oklahoma.
Auburn was 27th nationally in defense. One of their big stars coming back is Keldrick Falk. He says, we expect a lot of each other more than anybody else. There's been too much hate, maybe not hate, but disappointment in the Auburn family lately, and it's on us to change that. That from Keldrick Falk to Chris Lowe at ESPN.com.
If I was to tell you guys they beat Baylor, and then they win their opener on the road against Oklahoma, and they start 4-0, where do you think this season could be?
9 wins.
I think it possibly could get to 10 if they're 4-0.
Yeah, I think if they're able to, I think those games obviously so important, but they're favored against Baylor. It's going to be Oklahoma probably 3 to 4 point favorites, so that game should be a 1-possession game. If you can start 4-0, they're going to be a team rolling into October that people are talking about, surprise college football playoff contender.
If they're 4-0, they can be 5-0 because Oklahoma's better than Texas A&M. That's a great story. If you want to read it at ESPN.com, Chris Lowe came out earlier this week. Show today being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. Auburn great Charles Barkley on the other side after LT tells you about our friends at Lags.
Lags Eatery. We had a friend send us his breakfast picture yesterday. I meant to send that to Scotty. It looked fantastic, and that's the great thing about Lags. Starting today, not only can you grab a breakfast starting at 6 a.m., but you can go all the way to 2 a.m. with the late night. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, maybe you work that second or third shift. Lags Eatery is a great place. Go see Eric, Justin. Tell them the next round sent you. Conveniently located in Avondale between Avondale and Cahaba Brewing. Stone's throw away from Mom's Basement. The delicious burgers, fantastic tots, fantastic breakfast selection, great beers as well. Place to sit on the patio, watch all the Braves games out there for happy hour, best beer pricing in all of Birmingham. Stop in, see our friends at Lags Eatery.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between. Early detection, so important, guys, to absolutely, in some cases, save your life. Get healthy, stay healthy with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. 16 great locations, 35 urologists, one near you. Find it and make an appointment today, 205-930-0920, urologycenteralabama.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Do you need some more fresh college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Rolling on to talk NBA and the end of Inside the NBA on TNT with our buddy Charles Barkley. We were just talking Auburn football. He's got a bright orange Redmont vodka golf shirt on. That's Auburn orange, right, Charles? Is that Auburn orange?
Yes, sir. Hey, what were y'all talking about Auburn football?
Good story from Chris Lowe at ESPN.com. You know how people like Chris write the story and then somebody does a headline that makes you click on it, and it made me click on it on ESPN.com. It was one of the side pages that said it's now or never for Auburn, and that made me click on it. And then I read the story, and it's nothing like that. It's nothing like it's now or never for Auburn. A lot more positive inside the story.
Yeah, a lot of reporters, they've always been, they hide behind I'm not even sure why you would write an article and not do the headline.
Yep.
To me, that sounds like you spend all that time writing an article. Why wouldn't you want your own headline? In my day, it was reporters was just trying to hide something. But I would never give anybody control. If I wrote an article, I'm going to put my name on it.
So I know you like Hugh Freeze. I think we all like Hugh Freeze. He's a likable guy. But going into year 3, and I know you're not a guy that likes to get coaches fired, 6 wins, 5 wins. What's your expectation, and what do you think Hugh needs to do to get this thing moving in the right direction?
Well, he's got to have a good year. I mean, it's that simple. He's got to have a good year. You can't go 6-5. They have to make the decision what's a good year or a great year, but we have to see something positive. And right now, the last 2 years have, last year we regressed. And, and listen, Alabama's not going anywhere. Georgia's not going anywhere. Tennessee's not going anywhere. We just going to play our behinds off. It's that simple.
Charles Barkley is with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Was the final NBA on TNT, did that have some of the same feelings as like your final game as a Houston Rocket, knowing your NBA career was coming to a close? I mean, I know they're not apples and apples there, but did it have some of the same feelings for you?
Well, I was fine. When Shaq made his speech, I was fine. When Kenny made his speech, I was fine. I made my speech, I was fine. I didn't get emotional, and I'm glad they didn't cut the camera. My eyes watered up. I was getting ready when Ernie started breaking down. That's the only time that I got emotional. Because I think we all say we want to, but Ernie, man, he's a really an emotional guy. He had me like, damn, Ernie, shut the hell up. Because I'm glad the camera didn't pan to me because I had tears in my eyes.
I don't know if people know, though, that haven't worked in the industry, not that we've ever been as big as TNT, but how uncommon it is to have a show that becomes the family that you guys are. I mean, that is not a common thing, I don't think, Charles, on that level, is to have stars like yourself and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie, and then the behind-the-scenes people that nobody even knows, but it seems like you guys are just one big family. You told the story of somebody, they used to bring their kids up, and now their kids are bringing their kids up to see you, and they show you prom photos and things like that. That just seems uncommon at that level.
Yeah, you've been there. Ernie's been there like 38. I think Kenny's next at 27, 28, and I'm at 25, and Shaq's like 12, 13. It's so crazy. Like, they would bring their kids in when they were like newborns, and then then the next time you see them, they love to come see us before the prom. They love to impress the prom dates. I want you guys to meet Kenny, Ernie, Shaq, and Chuck. And like they all come and hang out and say hello before they go to the prom. Then the next time you see them, they come in, they're graduating from college. I mean, it's been, a lot happens in 25 years. It's been a pleasure to work with these guys. And I've got to know them and their families really well. Ernie's had a rough, couple years. His couple of his sisters died, his son died. And I hate going to funerals. I very seldom go to funerals. But, when his two sisters died, and his mom and dad died, and his son, and Shaq had a sister. We went to Kenny's mom's funeral. My mom passed away. They came to that, and my grandmother. So, yeah, man, it's a lot go into it. And the people behind the scenes, they're the most amazing, hardworking people.
I don't want to, tell too much, but I think the story is correct here. And I think you've said this publicly. You were going to go to NBC and you were going to make a lot of money. And then somebody sort of laid it out for you that you had enough pull that you could take care of the people in Atlanta behind the scenes. And that's when y'all decided to base the new show out of Atlanta. You sort of flexed your muscle a little bit, right?
Yeah, so this is supposed to be my last year. And I was hoping it was, to be honest with you. And I was like, because we had a deal. I was going to retire at 60. And they said, no, stay 2 more years until we get the new contract done. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. And little did I know the idiots that I worked for were going to lose the NBA. I was actually kind of in shock. I was like, you know what? I'm going to retire at the end of this year, pass it to Vince Carter or Jamal Crawford. Little did I know the idiots I worked for were going to lose the NBA. And it was crazy. And I met with Amazon. I met with NBC because we didn't know this thing, but with ESPN was even a conversation. And I was probably leaning toward NBC because the guy who has to run NBC is the guy who hired me here at Turner. So I liked him a lot. And Amazon was in the picture because they're in California and they're just a 30-minute flight from me or a 4 or 5 hour drive, which would have been great. And then all of a sudden this ESPN thing comes up and I was excited for the simple fact we could keep people working, which is my concern from the beginning. I really wanted to be like, you know what? I can keep these guys working. Let me see if this thing can work. And really, to be honest with you, I've been negotiating for the last 3 months because I'm not going to work more than I've been working. Nobody works more when they get older except an idiot or a fool. And I was like, so we've been negotiating for the last 3 months, and I actually just signed my deal in the last couple of weeks that I was going to stay. But I was like, hey, guys, I'm not going to be working a lot more because I know how ESPN is. They'll work you like a dog if you let them, So I'm like, and I had to sit down with Ernie. He's like, hey, give me a couple more years, just a couple more. And I said, Ernie, I'm gonna stay for 2 more years. And I said, TNT, I'm not staying longer. So I just signed a deal, and I'm gonna be on TNT on ESPN for the next 2 years.
So great players typically are average analysts. Great analysts are normally average players. You've been able to do both, and you've won 5 Emmys. Going back when you start,
you sure about that?
Is it 6 Emmys now?
You sure about that?
Dunaway's got 2.
Is it 11? Is it 11 Emmys?
You're in front of Dunaway. He's got 2.
It's closer to double figures.
Okay.
Lance.
Okay.
Because I just won another one. I could just go over there and count them.
Yeah, you can just show us. My question was going to be, when you started this, obviously you've been entertaining in every realm you've ever entered, but did you ever foresee that you were going to get rich? Like, you had a great basketball career, but the money that you would make and even have more stardom on the other side of the court. Did you ever even envision that?
Great question. I know whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to be great at it. That's just the way I'm built. I want to be successful at whatever I do. You know, that's just like, I want to be great at whatever. And because I want to pass that along to my daughter. My daughter she's amazing, and she went to Villanova and Columbia. She's a hard-working person. Shout out to my 2 grandkids, Henry and Charlie. Hey, little Charlie girl. But I demanded a lot out of her, and she see how hard I work. And so, yeah, Aunt Lance, I knew I was going to be good at it because I just believe in myself, to be honest with you.
So the NBA finals do start tonight. We were going to talk to you. We were going to talk to you about that. I mean, it should be a fun finals, right, Charles? I mean, a lot of people make a big deal out of, it's not the big media markets, but these were the 2 best teams of the postseason, were they not?
Well, not only that, these 2 teams have had the best record since January the 1st.
Yeah.
See, the Pacers got off to a bad start. They had a bunch of injuries, but these 2 teams have had the best record since, and that's not a small sample size. You know, we're in June now. That's not a small sample size. So they have the best record in NBA since January the 1st. It's going to be a good series. I don't think anybody can beat Oklahoma City 4 times. I don't see anybody. I've said that on the show. I don't see anybody beating them boys 4 times. Can somebody beat them 1 time? Somebody beat them 2 times? Maybe even 3 times. But I don't see anybody can beat them 4 times. I'd be totally surprised if they're not able to win this thing.
Would you, because I think it's going to be a sweep, but would you say better chance at sweep or going 7 games?
Sweep. I think it's a better chance of sweeping than going 7. I really do. I think the best in the case scenario, if somebody asked me to pick, the gentleman sweep, I think that to me is like, if I had to pick, I think it'll be a gentleman sweep.
Yeah.
The 4-1, win the first 2, win 1 in Indy, then wrap it up in 5. We called it a gentleman sweep. I think it's got a better chance of being that than anything else.
I'm interested in your thoughts on the New York Knicks job. Were you surprised that they made a change at the coaching position, and how attractive is that? And do you have any insight on who could be the coach? Would it be you? Would you like to coach the New York Knicks?
No, I would not like to coach the New York Knicks. I think, number one, everybody was shocked. Everybody was shocked. I mean, they were better than last year, and they were 2 games away from the finals, and they got beat by a better team. So I think people were shocked. It's a really good job. Number one, it's the New York Knicks. And I'll tell you something. I hadn't been to a Knicks game. Number one, I don't go to games, to be honest with you, because I had my day, and it's best. I never go to NBA games. I just think I had my day, and I stay out of it. And I hadn't been to Madison Square Garden in a long time. And let me tell you something, man. It was on fire. We went there for 3 games. New York is a special place. And if you get a chance, especially when they got a good team, especially in the playoffs, if you get a chance to go up there one of these days, guys, it's incredible. It's the same way in Boston and Philly, LA, but Madison Square Garden, man, when they have a good team, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I saw, how people list candidates, and I saw a list of 7. I believe it was on Bleacher Report, and the 7th one was Chris Paul. And I know he hasn't been coaching yet, but they used Jason Kidd as an example. You think CP3 could be a good coach someday?
I don't know the answer to that question, but he hasn't retired. He's still playing.
Yeah.
I think that Bill Russell was a player coach. I don't think they'll let you do that today. Chris Paul is one of my favorite players. It's a good job. I think you got to be really careful, though. I think you need somebody with some experience, because now with all that good stuff from New York, there's some bad stuff too now. If you coach that team, you better have it together, because it's not going to be easy. Because they just fired a guy who won 50 games back-to-back, who got to the conference finals this year and didn't last year. So he actually improved. So they didn't like him. And so it's a great job, but, man, it's a lot to go into it.
Were you the first NBA player to write off your NBA fines on your taxes?
I don't know the answer to that question. It's a great question. I hope so. Good smart move. I've been talking to my financial people, and apparently I got to start spending some money.
Yeah, I'll call you after the show.
Yeah. Got an idea.
Hey, Dunaway, this has been a great week for me, because nobody has my private cell phone. My bodyguard got the jackass line, and there's nothing worse than I hate when people ask me for money, because it happens like 24/7 every day. There's somebody like I care about their damn problems and stuff like that. I don't. But so my bodyguard, my security team got the jackass line. My phone hasn't rang all week except my grandkids.
Oof.
And I play golf every day. I got to go back into the fight next week, because I got to go back and beat Charles Barkley. I got to do 2 games in Indianapolis for NBA TV. Shaq and Kenny are doing a game tonight and Sunday. But to go a day in my life and somebody don't ask me money is like hitting the lottery. Is like a miracle.
Wait, Barkley, are you telling me I've got the jackass line? Is that what you're telling me?
What do we text you on the jackass?
Don't I answer y'all call?
You do?
I've only been texting you.
Yeah. Hey, if I text you back,
you do.
Yeah, you do.
If I don't ever answer the phone, you got the jackass line. Okay.
So,
okay,
you getting asked for money all the time. Is there ever, somebody that pitched you something, and now you look back and you're like, damn, that was a great idea, and it blew up and it actually made a lot of money? Like, you've obviously got a ton of cash, so it doesn't matter. But was there something that maybe you could have invested in that really blew up in a good way?
Well, so the way it works, my girl Christy, she runs my life. We probably, I got 2 great financial advisors, Scott in Birmingham, Scott Guthrie and Glenn Guthrie. They've been my guys for a long time. My attorney is Tom Sullivan. And I got a Damian Fishback is one of my advisors. And I have another one in Atlanta. They do a lot of due diligence. So I probably get 30, 40 bogus ass business opportunities a week.
Wow. God.
But they're only gonna bring me 5 worth listening to, because most of them always start out, I got a way we can make a lot of money, which that's a red flag right there, which means if you can make a lot of money doing it, you wouldn't have bought it to me. Because what that means is you need my money and you don't care if you lose it, but you want to risk my money. Because nobody says, I got a great idea, I want to share it. They would make the money themselves. But I hate when people bring me their personal problems asking me for money because they have zero idea. Because I think they think they're the only one. But it's probably 10 people a day ask me for money. And it really pisses me off and makes me mad. Because, like, yo, man, I'm not an ATM. I'm sorry you're having problems. But it is not my job to pay all of your bills. That's the only time I get frustrated. That's why it's great. That's why I make it almost impossible for people to get in touch with me. So people say, man, somebody's trying to get in touch with you. I'm like, if I want to talk to them, they could get in touch with me. They're on that list that I don't want to talk to.
Got the jackass line.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to know we don't have the jackass number.
So
that's what I'm happy to know.
Oh, man, you guys, y'all been cool. Y'all been cool a long time.
Yeah.
So if I have to choose between Bojangles and a Bud Light, I think I'm going to go with Bud Light. So I need y'all to hook a brother up.
It's a good combination, though.
Yeah. We will get you all the Bud Light you want.
Yeah.
And I will
Hey,
bring
you can go-
you.
you can- it ain't gonna go bad.
I'll bring you my business opportunity. I'll start off by saying, hey, I know you need to lose some money for tax write-offs. Or do I have a plan for you?
Hey, you know what's so crazy? I was working on my daughter's prenup, but she's gonna get all this money one day. And they were telling me how much money she's gonna have to pay in taxes. I'm like, excuse me, haven't I already paid taxes?
Bingo.
So ridiculous.
And they're like, Charles, you don't have any idea how crooked our government is. They get you, so you have to pay taxes twice if you got a lot of money. I was like, they're like, yeah, our government, they're full of it. They tax it when you got paid. And then another thing they do, when you play in the NBA, they tax you in every state you play in.
Yep.
And now they taxing you when you kill over. I says, no wonder people hate the government.
So can I ask you two gambling questions? Did you have the Oilers in game one last night? And second part, what is the most money you have lost or won on one putt on the golf course?
Well, I got the Oilers in the series for a big number.
I figured.
And I had the Oilers in game one.
Ooh.
And let me tell you something. The first 5 to 7 minutes of overtime, I was sweating bullets because Florida was coming the first 5 to 7 minutes. And then finally we got the power play at the end of the first overtime. And McDavid to Draisaitl. Oh, my God. That was a thing of beauty. But I got the Oilers winning the whole thing. But I bet big. I bet big on the Oilers to win the series, and I put a pretty good chunk on them winning that game last night.
Yeah, 76.5% game one winners go on to win the series. So the odds are in your favor.
Well, that means absolutely nothing, Ernie. Acting like Ernie, throwing those useless stats out there. So you said 30%. So that's, what about the 30%? So no, Lance. I think the most I played with Tiger quite a bit back in the day. We play $1,000 a hole. He give me a shot a hole, but because you can't get more than a shot a hole. If you need more than one shot a hole, you should try to play like pickleball or something. No grown ass man can take. I don't care who. Like when I played with Phil Mickelson, because his wife danced for the Suns. When I played there, he says, well, I'm like a plus something. I saw Scotty Scheffler. Excuse me, guys. My allergies are heavy. I saw Scotty Scheffler was talking last week about playing with his friends. He's like, "Well, I have to give these guys a lot of shots. I'm like a +7." And I was thinking, he must have some loser friends. You cannot ask for more than a shot a hole. Come on, man.
But if you're playing 1,000 a hole and you start pressing and you guys start carrying over, how big does that number get?
I don't do all that. And all I got to do is make 7 to 8 pars. And, you're going to lose to Tiger more than likely. Back in the day, he was going to, because he's going to birdie all the par 5s. All you got to do is make 7 to 10 pars, and you're going to lose $5,000. And that's not a lot of money, but you're playing with the GOAT. So it's it was cool.
Yeah. I saw that about Scotty. He was talking about he's got to give some guys 2 shots a hole back home.
Yeah.
And I was
hey, listen, you need 2 shots a hole. You need to try pickleball or some bowling.
I don't know how you look in the mirror taking 2 shots a hole. That's tough.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. You cannot take 2 shots. Come on, man.
I mean, that's birdie bogey. I mean, that's crazy.
That's a lot, man. All right, the great Charles Barkley. Always fun, Chuck. We greatly appreciate the time, buddy.
Okay, brother. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Y'all be safe out there. And war damn eagle.
Thank you, Charles.
We'll see you, Charles. Thank you, buddy. Charles Barkley with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
And we'll get to our 4 downs, brought to you in part today by our friends at Company Distilling. A chance to try this new sampling that you can get at the ABC stores here in Alabama.
You know, I drank some of the rye over the weekend.
Yeah.
We had Jeff Arnett in studio last week. We did a Bama and bourbon. It is absolutely fantastic. It's your chance to pick up Company Distilling. It's now available at ABC stores across the state. If you've been waiting to try whiskey that is good as the company you keep, this is your moment. Find your bottle. Learn more about Company Distilling at companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Please enjoy responsibly. Not only in Alabama, available in Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, 9 different states right now. Whether you're picking up a bottle for a weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling is worth a pour. Again, for more information, companydistilling.com/Alabama.
First down.
All right. What's your favorite sandwich that's made by someone else that isn't store-bought? And the reason I'm asking this is because a recent study came out saying that sandwiches that are made for you by someone else and then given to you taste better.
I agree 100% on this.
Yeah, so you're talking about like a personal person, right? You're not talking about like personal person. That was doubled up.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about like diplomat. So I've told you guys, and y'all don't like the combination, but Maddie does me a sandwich on Hawaiian bread.
I like that.
And it's got turkey and ham. It's got the Tillamook pepper jack cheese.
Right.
It's got the apricot jam, and it's got mayonnaise.
The mayo is I'd leave the mayo off, and I'm good.
And the bread's toasted. It is fantastic.
I'd leave the mayo off.
That's not the one that I didn't like. I forget which one. It was mayonnaise with something else. No, that's perfectly fine.
Your breakfast
mayonnaise
sandwich.
It was your breakfast sandwich.
No,
was not
but
good.
this is breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You can do this.
It was eggs. It had eggs in it. The one you did. There was something. It was a breakfast something. But that's closer to what we get with our friends over at the Heritage House. That's closer to that. No, that's a delicious salad. I don't have no problem with mayonnaise and a fruity jam at all.
Did you like the old school turkey Applejack at Roly Poly? That was fantastic. Did you ever have that done away?
I did not.
With the apple butter on it?
Apple butter and turkey. It was so good.
But that was Jim at that location that would make it for me. He didn't put a lot of love in his sandwiches.
I don't like it when other people make my sandwiches, to be honest with you, Tyler. I like a good peanut butter and jelly sandwich every now and then. The problem is Maggie puts too much jelly on it when she does it.
Of course she does.
The jelly to peanut butter ratio has got to be right. I'm more double-sided
But if you make it
thick
yourself,
peanut butter.
you can't blame anybody for it sucking.
I know, it's perfect with me. I put peanut butter on both sides of the bread, a lot of it, a thick amount of it, and then just a little bit of jelly in the middle of it. So... and when I do a banana and peanut butter sandwich, she doesn't put enough banana on there. I'm getting some bites where it's just peanut butter, no banana. Then I'm losing it there. So I like to make my own sandwiches.
Do you go on the peanut butter and banana? I used to do those a lot. I haven't done one in forever. But I used to go the full banana on it.
I do the whole banana, and I don't just slice it down the middle one time. I slice it down the middle, then I slice it down the middle again to where every piece of the bread is covered in the banana, and then it's almost in places double layered.
So you slice it lengthwise?
I slice
and
it
then
lengthwise,
turn, and then slice it lengthwise
then slice
again.
it lengthwise again.
Interesting.
To make it all, it's not paper thin banana, but it's a thinner slice of banana to cover it up. Maggie doesn't do that. It's chunky and it's got space in it.
So the peanut butter and banana, believe it or not, with the mayonnaise is really good, but it's also really good with the honey.
Yep, honey and peanut butter, I don't go wrong.
Do you like chunky peanut butter or smooth?
I'm okay either way. I really am okay. And I'm okay with almond butter. Again, when Maggie makes or somebody else makes my sandwiches, I like to overdo the meat sometimes.
Yeah,
I like a lot of
double meat.
I mean, too thin of the turkey, it's not doing it for me. I need a lot of turkey in there. So I like to make my own sandwiches.
You not liking sandwiches made for you by someone else tracks 100%
with
the study because the study says the reason that people like it more when someone else makes it is because you don't have any expectations of what it'll taste like. And when you're making a sandwich, you're like preloading your brain with how the sandwich is going to taste. But you hate surprises.
That's right.
And just things that are unexpected.
Nailed
So
it. Nailed it.
Tyler, can I tell you that nobody loves me like I love me.
That's right. Jim loves Jim.
Yeah, I love me.
Jim loves Jim.
I love me, and nobody loves me like me.
Hey, mine's a club sandwich. They're a lot. I like a good club, but man, they're a lot to make.
That's interesting. You do because you don't really like
I don't
bacon.
like bacon. I've told you though.
And I get my club sandwich sometimes at Hamburger Heaven, which
Hamburger
is
Heaven's
fantastic.
got the best club
But
I've
I'll
had.
get it without bacon sometimes.
Why? I don't like bacon. I've said this before. I like bacon as an accompaniment. I don't like bacon as my main protein. Like bacon on a sandwich, bacon on a cheeseburger, bacon on a salad, all that. But just my main meat being bacon, I don't really like.
I had a fried chicken club sandwich yesterday.
Ooh, that
It was
sounds good.
A big, thick piece of fried chicken, white meat. It was really, really good. Cheese was on there. Double mayonnaise was on there. A good ripe tomato was on there. Fresh, crispy lettuce. And then I forgot the bacon was on there, and it was cooked perfectly, and it just chef kiss on top of it.
I was at Mercedes the other night for a concert 2 nights ago, and their hot dogs. This is funny. Parking, dude wanted 120, and got him down to $100. But parking's $100. 3 hot dogs, a mac and cheese, and a water was $16. But the hot dogs, you can get $2 hot dogs there, but a vegan dog is $3. So you're paying more for the vegetarian hot dog than the one without.
Makes no sense.
Let me tell you, a place called Maggie Valley up in Cherokee, North Carolina, running late for our tea time.
Is there a bunch of Maggies running around?
We're running late for our tea time. We got to grab something to eat. We didn't stop for lunch. Grab something to eat real quick. They flat grill their hot dog in the pro shop, in the cafeteria
So
there.
they slice it and lay it.
Yeah. And then they also toast the bun on the flat grill.
Yes, sir.
And they're almost foot long dogs.
Oh, Jim.
And it's $2. $2 right there at the turn.
Damn.
How many did you eat? 2?
I had 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you did.
Remember the girl's shirt last night? Have you ever done the Costco dog?
I have not, no.
They make a big deal that the Costco dog and a drink, I think, is still $1.50, and it's been that way since the 1980s.
And it was one of our trivia questions, and randomly this girl had a shirt on that said, "It's the dog in me" or something, and it had the Costco dog.
I got that dog in
with
me.
the dollar, which was so weird that the question that night, and then a girl showed up with that shirt.
No, I love a good hot dog, and that was the first time I'd ever had flat grill toasted bun.
That sounds good, though.
And you could throw kraut on it, onions, relish. They had the whole shooting match. Chili, no bean chili. It was really good.
Second down.
Longest first down in
I know.
4 down history.
We talk food, man. We get sidetracked.
It really isn't the longest one, but it was lengthy. Yeah. I think we've gone 10 minutes on one before.
Mark Wahlberg turns 54 today. Better career, Mark Wahlberg or Mark Hamill?
I would like to say Hamill just because I don't like Wahlberg at all. But Wahlberg continues to get roles. I don't understand it. I did like Boogie Nights. I liked him in The Departed. That's about it. And I randomly had a dream about Mark Wahlberg last night.
I mean, that is weird.
Yeah, I know.
I just saw an interview with him on TikTok, Mark Wahlberg. And the question was, do you still have your prosthetic from
the Dirk Diggler prosthetic? And what did he say? That wasn't a prosthetic.
Yeah, no, he admitted it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was, but he admitted it was. And he says it's kept. He does have it, and it's kept.
You really
in
didn't think it was?
I really did. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's packing heat. It's always sometimes the short, skinny guy surprises you.
Apparently, Willem Dafoe has to have a body double for those kinds of scenes because it's just so distracting.
Wow,
that's what.
It's so big or so small.
So he's apparently just packing.
Yeah.
So quite a piece of
It
information.
distracts everyone on set. so
Wow.
they have to keep
Okay.
a body
Surprising.
double.
All right.
He says he literally keeps it in a safe deposit box or safe at home. You can't just because he's got young kids. He goes, you can't just leave that out.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
can't have it in a drawer somewhere or on the shelf.
That's when I started really not liking Mark Wahlberg because he didn't like to talk about the Dirk Diggler role and he didn't like to talk about the Funky Bunch. And like sometimes you got to lean on things that got you to where you are, right?
Yeah. Isn't Mark Hamill the greatest one-hit wonder of all time? I mean, he had one role. I don't know that he was a particularly good actor in that role.
Star Wars, right?
Yeah, he's Luke Skywalker. And was he even that good in that role?
I mean, he's the only one to play Luke Skywalker, so I'd say so. But
He was in
he's
Corvette
also-
Summer. You never saw Corvette Summer?
Yeah, I missed that one.
He was also in Batman the Animated Series.
No, he's obviously not a very good actor, though, right?
No, I don't think so.
Live action, I wouldn't say so,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
voice actor, he is phenomenal
But
as the
If
Joker.
he was a good actor, he'd have gotten more movies.
What
he just
kind
didn't
of
get any movies.
money has he made from that franchise?
Oh,
you know,
a
when he's,
ton, I'm sure.
when he signs with George Lucas back in 1977, you
So-
didn't get the back end that you get now.
The difference between the two net worths is astounding. Mark Hamill apparently didn't get any royalties off of the original Star Wars releases and didn't get them until the 90s. And Mark Wahlberg just cashes a lot of checks.
Yeah.
His net worth is around $400 million, and Mark Hamill is like just over $20 million.
Yeah, when you get into the executive producer, that's when you start making the money. And he was that for Boardwalk Empire, for Entourage, a lot of different shows.
Third down.
The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey, turns 27 today. If you were in your own reality show like Truman, would you be able to figure it out, and how?
I don't think I would. I liked The Truman Show. I thought that was a good movie. It's one might be my favorite Jim Carrey movie, honestly. I don't know that I would ever figure it out. I think I'm not going to say I'm not observant. I just kind of, and maybe this is a fault of mine, I don't know. I kind of give people the benefit of the doubt, so you would have to be a little paranoid to think you're in the situation that Jim Carrey was in. I think I lean towards giving people the benefit of the doubt.
There's many times Maggie thought she made a mistake in marrying me.
Okay.
One of them, I can't remember what year it was, but I had a really truthful conversation with her. I mean, I'm sure I had been drinking, where I told her there are times that I believe that I'm the only real person in the world, in the whole universe, and that everyone else is sort of like when I'm not around you guys, y'all are just turned off and sort of sitting in a closet until the superior power lets me, I start to come up here, and then all of a sudden it'll have Forrester here waiting on me, and it'll send others in. And she was like, I think you're joking, but part of me thinks you're being real. And at the time, I was like,
I think people have had, I've thought about, does everybody, not that everybody's not real, but does everybody in their dimension have their own life? So, right now, the life you're living is basically based on you, good or bad.
That's right.
I've had that thought before. I don't think it's realistic.
Y'all have a lot deeper thoughts than I do. Y'all really do. I don't ever think about anything like that.
That belief has actually been growing in popularity.
What belief?
The belief that there are NPCs is what they're called. Because in video games, you've got these random characters in villages that don't really do anything except stand there and wait for you to talk to them, called NPCs, non-playable characters.
Yeah.
And some people think that there are actually people like that in the world that kind of just don't have their own life or their own really sense of free will. They're just kind of there.
I mean,
I think I ended the conversation with Maggie by saying, and you're welcome that I continue to come home so much to get you turned back on.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, literally what my main thought has been this morning is this afternoon.
What's for lunch?
I know what's for lunch already. This afternoon, I've got to get a bigger shoulder turn on my backswing. I don't think I'm getting enough of a shoulder turn, and it's hurt my game. That's literally, I have thought about that multiple times this morning. That's the deepest thought I've had all morning long.
We're lined up in order here on the way that goes. I used to worry more about things. I think Dunaway is definitely the biggest worrier than me. And you don't worry about absolutely anything.
I don't. I mean, I've literally thought I've got to get a deeper shoulder turn on my backswing, Tyler, because I don't think I'm turning enough. And it occurred to me when I was playing yesterday. I played poorly yesterday, so we got to be better today. I got to get better today. That's literally all I've thought about all morning.
For the record, I have had those thoughts, but I do know, if I was decapitated today, everyone's going to lunch tomorrow. So
that's true. Yeah.
I know it is different.
Yeah. I take your kid.
Fourth down.
All right, the Nintendo Switch 2 releases today, Nintendo's newest console. So what's your favorite Nintendo game?
Well, you know mine, Simon's Quest Castlevania. You guys can give me shit about it all the time. I mastered it back in 1990, 89, 90.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite.
I think mine's Mario Kart.
It's a great one.
Yeah, I love Mario Kart.
Is that Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mario Kart for me as well.
Yeah.
Is that the
Kart's
one
great.
where you can be on the rainbow in the galaxy and go off the rainbow?
I've never played it.
That was the toughest one.
You shoot
Rainbow Road's tough.
Yeah.
Rainbow Road was always tough for me.
Shoot those shells at people. Yeah.
I tell you another Nintendo it was Sega, because we went from Nintendo to that Sega that really started the EA, the Electronic Arts games. Those were next level.
That is our four downs today, brought to you in part by our friends at Hemp Hill Services, heating and cooling and all of that. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. The guys there, make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
All right, we'll talk more college football when we come back, and a little college football news that's out there. NBA Finals tonight, 7:30 on ABC. You just heard from Charles Barkley on that. And just how bad are the Atlanta Braves? More on that on the pennant race coming up in just over an hour, a live version of that with EG and Ush. We'll touch a little bit on some baseball as well in the next hour of the show. That's being brought to you in part today by our friends at Champy's, world-famous fried chicken. They bring you the final hour of the show every day. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling is powered up and ready to bring you wonderful lunches and dinners down there. Brined overnight chicken. Chicken fingers, cooked to order, perfect tailgating food, including the Mississippi Delta recipe tamale. Go by and check it out. Highway 119 in Alabaster, just off I-65 on your way to the beach or back. It's Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show. We've already told you it's about Champy's, champyschicken.com. We'll do our tender moment later on this hour. Gutter Cap bringing you part of the show today. We're about to talk a little baseball. And with Gutter Cap, we may throw out the Atlanta Braves play lately. Tell us about Gutter Cap, how you can tap that, cover that gutter after getting it cleaned one last time.
Yeah, cap it, don't snap it. I am hoping that the rain stays away this weekend in our area. Is that even a possibility?
Yeah, it's going to be hit or miss, Lance. Roughly, 40 to 50%.
Yeah, the most rainfall I've seen in the last couple of months, I think in my lifetime, maybe an exaggeration, maybe not, but you need to keep those gutters clean and free-flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap. It's a patent aluminum cover system. Fits over most existing gutters. It will keep all the debris out. Only rainwater will be allowed in. It's a dirty, dangerous job. You don't want to get on the roof. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Call Chris Stewart for the absolutely free estimate today. Tell him the next round sent you. He's going to hook you up with a big-time deal. 205-823-2212. GutterCapBirmingham.com.
The Braves are about to play a little baseball, or just underway, day game against Arizona after losing 2-1 last night. If you're not following, more on this with a pin of grace in an hour, but the Braves have lost 10 of 13. They are on a, a 3-game losing streak where they've only scored 5 runs in those 3 games. They lost 2-1 last night. They only scored last night because the bullpen guy came in between hitting batters and walked a batter. They ended up scoring their 1 run that way.
It is crazy that you had one of the more exciting offenses in baseball over the last few years, and Chris Sale, another really good performance, double-digit strikeouts. He's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in his last 7 outings. This is a team that's just not coming together. I was talking to Emily Grace in the lobby a couple of minutes ago, and she was talking about the Pin of Grace, which is coming up, you said, in about an hour. You're starting to think that now that we're coming up on the second week of June, it's going to be really difficult for the Braves to get back into this.
I played golf yesterday with a big Braves fan, and I told him, I said, granted, I don't watch a ton of baseball. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert. I said, but when I saw you guys lost to the Diamondbacks yesterday, and I pulled up the standings, it just stunned me to realize there are only 3 teams in the National League with a worse record than the Braves. 3. I mean, how are they in this position, Dunaway?
Yeah. As we talked about yesterday, those are some pretty bad teams, including the Rockies and the Pirates. And I think the Marlins.
Rockies, Pirates, and Marlins. And there are only 6 teams in Major League Baseball, all of Major League Baseball with a worse record. And you got some teams that aren't even trying. I mean, you got, White Sox and Rockies and, those teams, they're not even trying to be good.
Yeah, but the problem is you've got Mets, Phillies, Dodgers, Padres, Cubs. You've got teams that are really, really good in the National League.
Yeah. Chris Sale, by the way, 39th on the all-time strikeout list as far as strikeouts, 39th all-time. And as LT said, his 90th time to have double-digit strikeouts in a game, and they lose 2-1 yesterday. In action now over at Truist, the getaway game for Arizona and Atlanta today. Part of a triple header on the Major League Baseball Network. If you're watching this outside of the Braves zone, you can catch the Braves now. You got to go over to the FanDuel site to watch them locally here. Afternoon, you get Mets and Dodgers tonight, Guardians and Yankees, all-day baseball on the Major League Baseball Network there. Let's do our Bo Tender moment of the day, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. It involves Chipper Jones. who's a proud father. More on that in a second.
Chipper Jones would love some Bojangles, I guarantee you. From sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely, add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with the salsas than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. Or if you want that heat, creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper, want smooth and creamy, house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, classic Bo sauce ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles and order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time.
Bring in Forrester's microphone. I'll let Forrester talk me through the backside of this, but you guys remember the Florida head coach who pitched a fit about a game being moved an hour at the Coastal Carolina Regional. Chipper Jones, complimentary of the Coastal Carolina baseball team, the way they play, the coaching staff. And Forrester, pick up the story from there on what we have on the social media between Chipper Jones and the Coastal Carolina folks.
Okay, so Chipper tweeted, "Big fan of Coach Snoll at Coastal Carolina. Him and his team represent what college baseball should be like. Well done, sir. You stand for proper behavior."
All right. Chipper Jones, yes.
a little shot at Kevin O'Sullivan.
A little
there.
one, yes.
Just a little bit.
I noticed.
And then...
well done, sir.
Yes. Well done, sir.
You stand for proper behavior. It's the way Chipper would talk, I'm sure.
So after Coastal shared that, then Chipper retweeted that with, "Appreciate the love. We'll definitely be watching this series. I must be forthcoming. I have 2 kids at Auburn. They don't play baseball there, but I'm not sure what the proper etiquette is. Either way, I look forward to an awesome series. Good luck, guys."
Yeah,
I wouldn't be playing baseball either if I was this kid.
Probably wouldn't be in college either.
You remember one of the great Halloween costumes back in the late 90s, early 2000s was Chipper? You'd see a random dude in a Braves uniform and then a Hooters girl.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was very popular in the Deep South.
So that is our Bo Tender moment of the day, that Auburn series with Coastal Carolina. Maybe Chipper's kids in the stand, maybe not. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Game 1, Coastal Carolina and Auburn. Tennessee and Arkansas is a series that is going on where Brandon Marcello, who lives in the area up in Fayetteville, says he wanted to go to that series. It's $130 to get in and have a chance to stand room only and see the field. You may not be able to see the field even in the standing room only sets.
You know, it's funny. We were talking about Louisville earlier, and I was looking at their schedule, and like Louisville at Pittsburgh, tickets are $9 to get a college football game, a regular season, and now we're talking about how expensive these tickets are. Do you guys, would you go SEC or the field to win the College World Series?
I think right now I'd have to go the field the way the SEC just played, though.
Well, a lot of people at most you're only guaranteed 3.
A lot of people think Arkansas is the best team left, right? I mean, that's a general feeling about that.
Well, Vegas has actually got LSU as your favorite right now,
now,
plus 350, and then right behind them was Arkansas at 4-1, Tennessee at 5-1, Carolina 7-1, and Auburn at 10-1.
Yeah, by the seeding, it's Arkansas and Auburn, but I think LSU is very high even going into the series. It took them a lot to sort of get rid of Little Rock in their regional. So we'll see what happens with this. But you know, I think Auburn is sort of a really good team with one superstar that Forrester was telling me about. But that Arkansas program has been so good not to have delivered a national championship yet.
They've never won one, huh?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Van Horn, I think.
Dave Van Horn, that guy's a coaching legend. You know, you mentioned the tickets at Arkansas. I just pulled up ATIX, our friends at ATIX, the Auburn ticket Friday night. If you want anything that's not just GA, which I'm going to guess is probably, that's a grass area. So that's just, you know, throw out a blanket or stand or whatever. An actual seat, the get-in is $225 a seat for a college baseball game. I mean, outside of the Iron Bowl, there may not be an Auburn football ticket that'll cost you $225 on the secondary market this coming season.
Yeah.
Even the Iron Bowl might not.
I mean, maybe the Iron Bowl, maybe Georgia.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a steep baseball ticket, $225.
Dunaway, you mentioned Arkansas, and, you know, we always talked about Mike Martin when he was the active manager for Florida State. But it's still almost impossible to believe with their College World Series appearances, they've never won one. And just quick math.
This is Arkansas you're talking about here, Lance?
No. 24 appearances in the College World Series and 0 championships for Florida State.
Yeah.
mean, that's crazy. 3 times runner-up, but they hadn't been runner-up in 26 years, but they are one of your final teams still standing.
All right, so that all gets going tomorrow. We're in the year 2025. As LT tells us about our friends at Michelson Laser Vision, The Athletic is looking back to the first 25 seasons of this century. That includes the 25 greatest games of this century. I've got a question after you tell us about Michelson.
205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, true pioneer in the LASIK space, the first to perform the LASIK procedure back in 1995 in the state of Alabama. Make the phone call that I made in 2003, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe. The Next Round sent you. They are going to hook you up with an absolutely free consultation. Nothing to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Okay, I'd love to hear you in the chat room as well, but here's the question. 25 best games of the first 25 years of this century. How many would you rate ahead of the kick six? How many would you rate ahead of the kick six? So if you've got one better, throw it out. Let's discuss it.
I think most people would have.
I've got one better.
Vince Young running into the end zone against USC. That was a national championship game.
2005 national champion Texas USC. You agree?
In the Rose Bowl, upset. Very close game. A lot of action plays. I would put that in front of the kick six.
Yeah, I think that is definitely in front of the kick six. Remember the kick six, it wasn't like aesthetically the best played game.
No, Alabama kicked it around all different directions except between the uprights.
And, I don't want to just focus on national championships because the implications for that game were massive. It was who played for the SEC championship, who went on, would have played Florida State. Obviously, it was Auburn. Is Georgia and Kirby Smart 2018 against Alabama? And that national championship that went to overtime?
Yeah, Georgia, Alabama. I think the Tua to Devontae.
Yeah.
I think I would put that ahead.
Second 26?
I haven't looked at the list yet. This is my question. I'm going to look at the list.
Second 26, you had a terrible offensive half by Alabama if you're just looking for an aesthetically pleasing game. And then a terrible offensive half by Georgia. So neither team was able to, kind of match it up.
Yeah. To me, the Clemson-Alabama game in the desert.
Oh, yeah, it was better.
The first one was a better game.
And that was a great 4 quarters.
That's right.
Yeah. I think of the Alabama national championship games, the best actual game was probably that one.
The onside kick game.
Yep. That's the one you're talking about, yeah.
The 25
in the desert.
25 2015 national championship. I think some people put 2016 national championship into the best games. The drive at the end by Clemson
that was a
and
good
the
game.
pick play game, as it's referred to around here.
Yeah.
I would put that in there. I don't know if I'd put it ahead of the kick six, but I would put that in there. I just off the top of my head now.
It's the last 25 years, right?
Yeah, since the year 2000. Oklahoma Boise State Fiesta Bowl. Nothing but bragging rights for Boise State.
It was a great game, though.
Where do you put that?
I will tell you, I left people in my basement to go to sleep. So I never even saw
That blows me away.
Wow.
Well, it was a long day and there was nothing at stake really. I hate that I missed the end of that.
I was dozing off on the couch. I didn't remember that.
I may be wrong, but Georgia Alabama 2012 SEC championship.
It was a fantastic game.
That was a great game for me.
Again, some of these are made more by what they have online, and that was basically a national championship on the line because either of those teams beat Notre Dame.
Yep. Any others pop to your mind real quick?
No.
Anybody in the chat room, Brown, on great games?
Oh.
Where are you on Auburn, Florida State?
That was a fantastic game.
Oh, yeah, that was. If you're looking at rivalries in season.
In any game, any college football game.
Like when Caleb Williams came in for Oklahoma, when Texas was up, it was Sark's first year, right? I think that's right, in 2021. And Texas was up 21 early, and then Oklahoma came back. I'll track that game down, but that was an incredible game. Do you guys know? It was the same. I'll tell you, same night that Texas A&M beat Alabama as a 17-point dog with Jimbo Fisher. It was that Oklahoma-Texas game. So I think that was 2021. Is that right?
Yeah. Sadly, I don't think Game of the Century in Tuscaloosa even makes the list because it was a 9-6 game.
Yeah, but it did go to overtime.
Yeah.
That was the two best teams in America playing. And it went to
Already,
overtime. It's hard to beat that.
So the question is, what's better than the kick six? Anybody in the chat room with one that we did not mention yet?
So this one was, real quick, just back to it. It was 55-48 was the final. Oklahoma won the game. They were down 28-7 after the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys not remember how incredible that game was back and forth?
That was the Red River, right?
Yeah, and it was number 6 versus number 21.
I do remember that being a good game.
Yep.
Charles says, how about the LSU Texas A&M 7 overtime game?
I don't.
It was a long game.
Yeah, I remember once it got to overtime, it was, obviously a lot of drama once it got there. I don't remember how the game played out.
I mean, obviously it played out close because it made overtime, but I'm with you. I just don't remember it being a spectacular game.
David Ubben writes it from The Athletic. 25th best game. Overtime, Nick Saban's final game. Michigan 27, Alabama 20 in overtime.
Yeah. That was a close game. I don't know that I'd say it was a great game.
2024, the upset we always go back to when it's a FCS versus a big one.
Pitt, West Virginia?
Appalachian State 34, Michigan 32, 2007. 24th on the list.
The one thing I remember about that was first game ever on the Big Ten Network.
And the one thing I remember about it is a lot of America couldn't watch it because they didn't have the Big Ten Network yet. I remember watching an ESPN game and they kept cutting in and saying, okay, this is on the Big Ten Network. You can't see it, but here's what's just happened.
Yeah, I almost mentioned this one. 2007, 23 on the list. Stanford as a 41-point underdog upsetting USC 24-23.
Yeah, see, I would put that in one of the top 10, if not the biggest upset in college football history, but as far as great games, no.
Brown, you just mentioned it. 2007, Pitt 13, West Virginia 9 is 22 on this list.
That was not a great game at all.
21 on this list is the 7 overtime game in 2018. A&M 74, LSU 72. Check that basketball score this year. I don't think A&M and LSU won 74-72.
Did you have the under?
Yeah, probably. Number 20 on this list, the 2016 Rose Bowl, USC 52, Penn State 49.
I referenced
that was a good game. I remember that.
That game when we were, I don't know who we were previewing. Maybe it was USC, but we were talking about Drew Aller, and this is the best quarterback situation for James Franklin since Trace McSorley in that game. That was an incredible game.
19th on this list from David Ubben at The Athletic. 25 best games this start off this quarter century. First 25 years of this century. 19th on the list, 2017. UCF to stay unbeaten to go on and eventually claim the national championship. 49-42 at home versus USF.
That was a fantastic game that I think was a Black Friday game. I think they played that on Black Friday, as I remember, at the War for I-4. And, I remember watching that. I would never have remembered to put it on this list, but he's right. That was a terrific football game.
Number 18 on this list, 2006, 1 versus 2, Ohio State 42, Michigan 39.
I couldn't remember the final of that game, but I do remember – what year did you say that was?
That was the Brody Crowell sack game.
2006.
Brody Crowell sack game, because I stayed home from the Iron Bowls. Well, the first Iron Bowls I missed in a long time just because I wanted to watch Ohio State, Michigan, and it delivered.
Watched it at my house, I think you did.
I think I did. I think I came and did. Schembeckler died the night before the game or something like that, did he not?
Yeah. Absolutely did. 17 on this list, 2014, Baylor 61, TCU 58.
Yeah, a little more scoring than I want.
Both of them ended up not making the playoffs. 2004 Rose Bowl, Texas 38, Michigan 37. Remember, that was huge because that was the first time they let a non-Pac-12 Big Ten team into the Rose Bowl. And Texas, Michigan delivered. It was a great game. We said you should have opened it up a long time.
What a helmet game, Texas and Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
They say you lose me when you go to non-power teams, but 2010, Nevada 34, Boise State 31 overtime.
Okay.
Number 15 on this list.
Take your word for that.
High. Fabulous game, 2008. Texas Tech 39, Texas 33, Mike Leach's team in Lubbock.
Michael Crabtree, right, scored the game winner.
He did.
He
walked it
who
off.
was the quarterback? Do you remember the quarterback? Was that Graham Harrell?
It might have been Graham Harrell.
Yeah, hits Crabtree right there, and he dances right in the front corner of the end zone, and the place goes crazy.
You're going to know the answer to this is yes, because I'm asking it this way. But do you think, because I'm seeing this list as the first time, do you think we had a college football playoff game last year that would make this list? Well, yes, Jim, because you wouldn't ask the question. 13th on this list, Texas 39, Arizona State 31, double overtime, the Peach Bowl last year.
How different would...
Did you watch that game and think that's the 13th best game of the century?
It was a great game, though.
I watched it thinking it was an entertaining game, but if you'd have said, boy, was that a top 15 game of the century? I'd been like,
I would have gone the 2015 Alamo Bowl with... Was that TCU and Baylor?
No, it was Washington.
TCU and Oregon.
Oregon,
It was TCU and Oregon. I would have gone that over that. But, I mean, that was a great game last year.
It was a fun game.
How different would the perception be of Sarkisian and Texas coming into this year if they would have lost Arizona State?
Very different.
Very different.
Very different. Taylor Korn just passed her anniversary here, so she had not coached me up on how to do social media yet. I'm not even sure I had the next round login at the time. Tennessee 52, Alabama 49, 2022.
It's a great game.
When I posted that million-view video of Tennessee students storming the field.
Yeah.
Mistake on my part. Should have put that one on the next round.
Right. Let's do that on the next round, please. Thank you.
Should have put that one on the next round. That was a heck of a football game. Number 11 on this list, 2017 National Championship game, Alabama 26, Georgia 23 in overtime.
I mean, 2nd and 26, one of the most iconic plays in college football history.
I mean, first half was rough.
It was.
Would you not say, though, Brown, that you could make a list of greatest endings and greatest games?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't think that was the greatest game.
Well, I think in terms of the kick six and that, I don't know that either of them would go greatest games, but certainly greatest endings. You know, I think you could make that argument for both of those games.
Here's the top 10 games this century so far. Georgia 42, Ohio State 41 in the 2022 Peach Bowl. That was the one where Ryan Day.
I know. That was a good game.
I know one
played
that
conservative.
I will tell you the second best game I've ever seen, just real quick on the fly, behind Texas and USC, was the semifinal of Oklahoma and Georgia.
Somebody mentioned that. AK mentioned that in the chat room. He's like, the Georgia-Oklahoma Rose Bowl.
That was just back and forth. It was incredible.
That's going to be up in the top 5.
It's got to be. Number 9 on this list, the comeback game. Auburn 28, Alabama 27, 2010. I would probably put it in the top 25. I watched it. I was amazed at how dominant Alabama was, and I was amazed at how Auburn came back and won it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You kind of wished it would have been a little more balanced. I mean, it was all Alabama first half, all Auburn second half, but if you would have had the back and forth, you could have made that argument. That was, one of the greatest regular season games of all time.
To continue to show you how spoiled we are around here, number 8 on this list is Florida State 34, Auburn 31 in the 2013 BCS title game. And when you think back, Auburn's collapse at the end for that final drive takes away at how back and forth that football game was. It was a good game.
I can never remember the receiver that is wide open for a touchdown over the middle, and Nick Marshall throws.
That was the first half, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I think Auburn's up.
Was it Darvin Adams?
I can't remember. Scott might remember. I swear. I
thought it was Darvin
Every
Adams.
time we talk about this, I'm like, I'm going to remember that receiver.
Yeah, because it's like he hit him in the ankle. And he was running free.
Looked like a pass I threw. And as I remember it, that puts Auburn up at least 2 scores.
But then Trey Mason scores, and a lot of people are like, why didn't he take a knee and run some clock? But if they do score a little bit later, they probably hang on and win. And back to what I just said about Texas this year, how different is Jimbo Fisher's legacy if Auburn wins that game?
Whew. Totally different.
Ricardo Lewis is what Bobby says.
Okay.
I think that's right.
Number 7 on this list, Clemson 35, Alabama 31, the Pick Play National Championship game in Tampa we talked about. Number 6 on this list, the 2002 Fiesta Bowl, Ohio State 31, Miami 24, double overtime. That's
very
the controversial call.
Very controversial pass interference.
Number 5 on this list, you just mentioned it, LT, Georgia 54, Oklahoma 48, double overtime 2017 Rose Bowl.
That was, it's crazy, his first team, but that was Lincoln Riley's best team.
Probably so. As close as he's come to winning a national championship.
Yeah, we haven't got to the kick six yet. I'm just assuming the kick six is on this list.
It's got to be in the top 5. Real quick, if where he lost that game was a squib kick at the end of the half.
Yep,
the squib at the end of the half gave
Rodrigo
Georgia points.
Blankenship hits like a 55-yard bomb.
And Georgia had to have every possession they could get in that
game.
And
I really believe if Oklahoma plays Alabama, there's a good chance Oklahoma wins the national championship.
It's the closest Riley's been.
This is a bogus list at some point because we've only got 4 games left. The kick six has not been mentioned. 2012 SEC championship hasn't been mentioned. They mentioned the wrong Clemson-Alabama game and then the Texas-USC game.
So those have not even been mentioned. We've only got 4 left.
Number 4, USC-Notre Dame, 34-31, 2005.
Was that the Bush push?
It was.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Number 3 on this list, kick six. Auburn 34, Alabama 28, 2013.
I mean, outside of the Stanford-Cal band play, it might even be more.
I remember.
I don't know. I mean, what's more unlikely?
I don't know. Well, I mean, in a lot of ways, the Georgia game a couple of weeks before was more unlikely. I mean, it's just a tip in the straight up in the air. And Ricardo Lewis, by the way, happened to be there.
That was my worst beat of all time.
I bet.
We did forget it. You probably forgetting this game, though, Brandon. It was 21-7. Auburn rallied to tie it, then tied it again with 32 seconds left, 28-28.
A little controversy in that play, too.
The 39-yard touchdown pass from Nick Marshall to Sammy Coates. I forget which lineman was blocking for Coach downfield already. Number 2 on this list, Boise State, Oklahoma, 43-42 Fiesta Bowl, and number 1, Texas USC, 2005 Rose Bowl.
Yeah, they left off some good games.
The Clemson-Alabama game by far.
Yeah, they put the wrong one on. They put the wrong one on there.
Yep. And then that Georgia-Alabama SEC championship game, not on the list. We put Nevada and Boise on there and left those 2 off? Come on, David. Other than that, a pretty good darn list. They're at The Athletic. You can read about those games and give your own comments there if you're a member of The Athletic there. All right, when we come back, we will do Trash Today, the show being brought to you in part by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. A chance to get by there and enjoy great food today.
Yeah, hey, the weekend is almost here. Pick you up a couple of steaks on the way home. Some of those delicious sides, his baked beans made fresh in-house, the mashed potatoes, the mac and cheese. Deli sandwiches are a great option for lunch or dinner as well. And a incredible selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop, 2 locations, Caba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Get in and see Jim and the great staff. Rare quality, well-done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, before we get to trash, the show being brought to you in part by our buddy Dr. B. Tell us about Dr. B, LT.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. A lot of men are going to lose hair. When you start to lose, you want to be preemptive. You want to maintain. You want to grow some back. Dr. Beckenstein is the key. Speaking from experience, this happened when we started this venture back in 2021. Since then, I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made, 205-319-0316. T3hair.net for more information. T3's got that test that is easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and your critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Find out what will work for you with Dr. B. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
Now, if that's too much, 12 different appetizers to choose from. I'm a fried dickle pickle man. I'm a fried dill pickle man.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up some cold, delicious Bud Light as we roll into the weekend. Tyler, I don't know why these are stories, but apparently they are. AMC has unveiled its biggest popcorn bucket yet.
We're back to the popcorn bucket.
All-in-one concession holder for Fantastic Four. Will this be a big topic on the Meltdown today?
We talked about this yesterday, actually, on the Meltdown. So if you want to see that discussion, go to youtube.com/@meltdown247. And we are undecided as to which one, if any, we're going to get for the studio because...
Well, I'm going to assume if you walk out with one of these, you're not walking out with a woman, right?
That's a fair assumption.
I would go, I think of the two, I think I would go with the Herbie one.
That's where I'm leaning
I would too, 100%.
Because I like the wacky ones, and this Galactus head isn't very wacky. It's just massive.
Yeah,
But
the Herbie is almost like a homage to Lost in Space back in the day.
This Herbie one is like supposed to hold a large drink, a large popcorn, and a candy bar. I have no idea how it's
Where's
supposed
he
to
put it all?
Exactly.
The Galactus, is that right?
Galactus
is the, you can eat the popcorn out of it, measures 17 inches tall by 20 inches wide. The Herbie here, does it give the dimensions on the Herbie? Anyway, smaller. How about that? Based on the official image, it appears that your drink goes inside of Herbie's head. Then there's a compartment in the chest for snacks and another cavity in the lower torso for popcorn. According to AMC's tweet, these Fantastic Four popcorn buckets and concession vessels will be on sale July 24th, the first night. Fantastic Four First Steps has its early previews in theaters. Any expectation for this? I'm not talking about the popcorn.
I hope this is it's a pretty good movie. I really like the trailers. They're going for that sort of retro futuristic look, where everything has that 50s and 60s look.
Did they do that in
high-tech.
Did they do that in Fantastic 3?
No. They're skipping F2 and F3 this year. We get F1 with Brad Pitt at the end of June.
Let me see if I can get this right. Is it Silver Surfer, the Thing, the Human Torch, and some chick?
So Silver Surfer is actually, she works with Galactus, and then the Fantastic Four are the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, and Human Torch.
Wait a minute, Silver Surfer's a female?
In this one, yes. There's multiple
Silver Surfers.
You got there's
Silver
a lot of
Surfer was
different
never
universes.
in the comics that I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the and then most of the comic runs, it's like a jacked dude who's just all silver.
And surfing. Apparently.
So a hungry
and in this
wild.
one, it's Julia Garner.
Oh, okay.
Hungry wild elephant caused havoc in a grocery store in Thailand on Monday when he strolled in from a nearby national park, helped himself to food on the shelves. Now, videos of the incident showed the huge male elephant known as Plai Blank Lake. I'm a little rusty on my tie from back in the Tuscaloosa days. Briefly stopping in front of a shop.
I mean, that's a tight fit, man.
Yes, I don't know.
Located next to a main road. They said there really wasn't any damage outside of mud tracks on the floor and the ceiling of the shop. You see him scraping up there. Video posted by the shop owner appeared amused as she described the moment as the elephant rifled through her shop, ate about 9 bags of sweet rice crackers, a sandwich, and some dried bananas that she had bought that morning. This elephant, 30 years old, familiar sight in the area, has been known to enter people's houses in search of food. There are an estimated 4,000 wild elephants in Thailand in 2024. As farmers push into forests for agriculture, elephants have been forced to venture out of their shrinking habitats in search for food, leading to confrontations that can turn deadly.
4,000 wild elephants just in Thailand?
Just in Thailand.
But don't they portray that as that we're
endangered?
we're losing the elephants?
That's the African elephants.
Okay.
So, real quick, do you guys think that there are predators that actually can hunt and kill elephants? By the way, when I ask this, I know the answer.
I don't think an elephant's an apex predator, no.
I think an elephant's biggest are we like the people that what are the cats that hunt in packs? Do they have any that hunt?
Well, you're talking about hyenas.
Hyenas, okay,
Yeah.
hyenas.
Hyena is one of the 3.
Okay.
Yeah, the lion is one.
Just one lion.
No, lions. They
do,
will
yeah.
in the pride. They will hunt them down. They've been known to go straight for the tusk to suffocate the elephant. Now these are smaller elephants. These aren't full grown.
Right.
Full grown elephants basically untouchable. But the smaller hyenas will hunt them in packs. Lions will hunt them in prides, and then crocodiles when they're crossing rivers will go for the legs and try to drag them under the.
But a lion is an apex predator.
Yes.
Yeah, it has no known.
Outside of man.
Yeah.
Man will dick everything up, right?
Of course. We got a gun.
Well, let's see. It's just like Alabama football. I mean, you got to fight the pack
That's right.
and the man, the referees.
The zebras.
Yeah.
On the loose.
So it turned out more to be a scene that left staff stunned. In security footage doing more than its usual duty, an elderly man used an Ormond Beach, Florida car wash for something far beyond detailing his vehicle. Now, the incident unfolded around 3 p.m. on May 17th when the 80-year-old man relieved himself beside his car in the self-vacuuming area of the business.
Got to get the suds off the tires.
According to police, the manager of the car wash called in after reviewing security footage. After defecating, he then allegedly grabbed a handful of the facility's detailing towels and wiped himself and the mess before tossing everything into the dirty towel bin, just like you would just wipe the windshields down.
So wait, he did number 2, not number 1?
Yep. Yeah, I thought when you first started the story, it was the other one.
Yeah,
With all the water going, I had to go number 1 all of a sudden.
Unknowingly handled the contaminated towels before realizing what had happened, according to the report, which the observers shared about. All affected materials were destroyed to prevent any further health risk. Now, the car wash, like many similar operations in Florida, offers complimentary towels as part of its service package. While the occasional spilled soda or mud cake floor mat is par for the course, human waste, whole nother gear. Vandalism charges may be considered through the report. So they are waiting to see what happens there. You guys noticed, it's almost like since Breaking Bad and Walt and Skyler were able to launder all this money through car washes, we have like 50 car washes in the Birmingham area. I remember 2, maybe 3 growing up. They're on every corner now.
We do. I use the one that's just right down here, and they've opened another one of those on the old Lloyd's property.
Does our membership?
Yeah, membership works at both of them.
Okay,
I've already
good.
confirmed that.
All
And there's another one in Trussville, by the way, if you're ever up there, that the membership works at. But then they opened that other one right there by Panda Express. I don't ever see anybody using it. Like, I don't.
I think it's opening this weekend, right?
Yeah, I use
I think it's been open a while.
The
but
one right past it. Is that the one you guys use? It used to be a Goo.
No, we use the one that right down here.
Yeah, next to our friends at Way to Wellness.
Yeah, by Way to Wellness, right there across from Slice.
I think the fact that we're getting all these different car wash locations confused is just proof.
Yeah, that's what LT's talking about. We got so many of them, we can't tell you.
Suspicious.
Yeah, we can't just say, let's go down to the car wash. We're having to tell you which one.
Yeah, the Rainbow Car Wash, I think Anthony's and Great American Car Wash, I think were the brand. Like, I remember Goo Goo. I don't know if Goo Goo still exists. I know it doesn't in that location. Okay, we got an update on our Louisiana. What was it? Louisiana 10 at one point?
The Louisiana, I thought it was the Louisiana 6. Were they 10?
It was 10 at one point.
It started off as 10, and then it quickly dwindled down.
Yes,
what do you think we're down to?
My guy went out first.
He got snatched.
Yeah, Dunaway was off. You were on vacation when we each picked a criminal to see who would go last. My guy, I went Van Buren because it sounded like he was smart. Presidential name. He was first off the list.
I went Derek Groves because he is the guy that's got the murder
bad
charges.
Rap sheet. Yep, bad rap sheet.
And I just figured he is never going to be taken alive. There are 2 left. Now, one of the escaped Louisiana inmates posted a video to Instagram 2 weeks after getting out of jail.
That's so good.
That's the one thing you want to do.
Yeah, let's establish a digital footprint. That's what I would like to do.
This is almost Richard Kimball-like. According to investigators, Antoine Macy, who escaped from the Orleans Justice Center on May 16th, with 9 other inmates, appeared in videos uploaded to the account at _007 Chucky. Now the account no longer shows any posts.
007 Chucky.
Videos widely circulated on social media show Massey speaking directly to the camera, pleading his case and denying allegations related to his arrest and escape. Now, in one of the videos, he says, quote, "I'm one of the ones that was let out of the Orleans Parish Jail where they said I escaped, right? ? Now, in the video, Massey disputes reports that he threatened a jail maintenance worker to facilitate the escape. Investigators have said that Massey threatened to, quote, shank Sterling Williams if he did not shut off the water to the cell where inmates later removed a toilet and climbed through a wall to escape. Massey claims the domestic abuse battery charge that kept him in jail was based on a false report from a jealous girlfriend. Massey shows paperwork that he said proves she was jumped by peers, not him. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson issued a statement in response to the video encouraging Massey to turn himself in. Went on to say, quote, "If the individual depicted in the video is indeed Antoine Massey, we strongly urge him to come forward, turn himself in to proper authorities. Cooperating with law enforcement, best interest may help avoid additional charges." Now, in the video posted here, Massey also asked public figures for help, including Donald Trump, rappers Lil Wayne, and Meek Mill as well. He has accused the state of Louisiana of corruption, arguing he is being unfairly prosecuted and mistreated behind bars. Now, him and fellow escapee Derek Groves are the last 2 inmates still on the run.
Yeah, Derek, at least smart enough not to establish a digital footprint here and show authorities where you were very, very recently.
Yeah, but if you're well planned out here, you go to like L.A., shoot this video, and quickly you're somewhere else.
Yeah, Mexico.
He's got a very unique, like Post Malone look.
Yep, very.
And he is getting. By the way, 50,000 is the number out on both of these guys now. So if you can turn them in,
he's got a little jelly roll mixed with Jalen Brunson.
It looks like he's got some snow boots on.
I noticed that
here.
too, Tyler. Yeah. Like he took time to do a set too. Like I'm going to get a stool out. We'll do it in the kitchen. Let me put on my jumpsuit and my snow boots.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys would agree. He is being aided and abetted.
Exactly.
100%. It looks like he's got new get-up on.
I mean, first of all, you've done this in someone's kitchen who now, as you said, has aided and abetted a known criminal. So now they are probably in the crosshairs of the police. Second of all, you've told the police where you were very, very recently.
Yeah.
You've let them know I was at Mom's house in the kitchen.
Well, reading the comments over there, a lot of people believing him, though. I didn't get to see it, though. Hey, we have mistakes that happen all the time.
We do.
Give him let's check the facts. Let's see what he's saying.
Hey, much like you are granted immunity if you're married, right? You can't testify against your significant other. Like aiding and abetting, I think should be thrown out if you're a parent. Like what parent really is going to turn their kid away?
Great point.
I don't think it's a great point. I mean, if your kid's a known criminal, like if your kid was a cold-blooded killer.
But if he stopped by just looking for a hot meal.
Yeah, he's a cold-blooded killer. He deserves to be in prison.
It's hard to say because I don't think any of our kids are going to be cold-blooded killers.
Not, yeah.
But it would be impossible to turn, I believe, my back on my kid almost in any circumstance.
That
situation.
is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And our friends at Champy's Chicken, bringing you the final hour here. One more point to make about sports in today's world before we tell you about that. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119. Sterling and the crew cooking up the great lunch that you expect every day from them. Brine that chicken overnight. It is cooked to order. It is so good. Don't forget the po' boys, handmade desserts right there on site. It's Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. All right, we had the departure notice of Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Utah State, joining Washington State and Oregon State in the Pac-12.
It just sounds funny when you
One
start
state,
listening.
2 state, 3 state, 4 state, 5 state, 6 state. All 7 of the Pac-12 members have a state beside them. Many of them are not really states. One more. They got to come up with one more team, but forget who the 8th team is going to be a conference. Next 10 years, who wins more Pac-12 football championships of that group? Washington State, Oregon State, Boise, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State.
I think I go Boise. Yeah. I think I might go Washington State second. Well, no, the Dickert guy left and took the Wake job, didn't he?
If you did a super conference of all states and all non-states,
Ohio State would dominate.
This is you asking a great question.
No, Louisiana State, Florida State.
You're asking a great question right before the end of the show.
We can take it over. I don't think anybody's going to debate this.
Yeah, we'll take it over another time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Not
saying.
right now. Absolutely. We'll bring that one back. Until next time, don't get Penna Grace is in here next at 12:15. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.